I'm I guess they want to get more viewings, so that's a smart move. It is kind of a short movie, but that's cool.
What are you talking about?
The runtime,
Is it short?
yeah, it's like barely 90 minutes. It says like 88 minutes, which is
That's
pretty in
with
line
credits,
with,
probably.
yeah, with credits. Um, it's pretty in line with Illumination movie lengths, movie
Yeah,
runtimes.
that's a little disappointing, but I'd rather have a movie where I'm left wanting
Just
more than a movie that's
right,
dragging.
right.
You know, maybe they must have had to cut out the scene where the woman was thought she was getting married, but it was an FBI secret undercover agent and it wasn't a real wedding. They must have cut that scene out. And you know what? What's up, everybody? Air seems to be the only one in the chat. We're starting at the normal time. We're a little late, but yeah,
We always
we
wait.
were talking about some movie shit before the podcast, and I said I wasn't gonna watch any more of the Mario movie stuff, but I watched from the Game
You gotta say,
Awards.
bro.
God damn it! And yeah, it looks pretty damn good. I've seen a lot of people using it as an example to say, hey, you can use the video game music as part of the score, and it works.
Of course
Um,
you can.
Oh
what
yeah,
the, I want to see the whole movie before I judge. As long as it's not like constant. I mean, there shouldn't be music constantly anyway. We'll see. I liked it. I don't want them to overdo it. Like, like the Mario main theme be constantly
need some
being.
calypso in there.
But
Some Mario Brothers 3 calypso.
yeah. Let's see. Did we finished our Wii U stuff last week? I know we got
Yeah, we
distracted with
kind
the
of doubled up on
GameCube.
it.
The GameCube hate kind of came in.
Yeah,
I don't know if
fucking
Retro Death
GameCube.
wants to.
Look, you guys can either not praise the Wii U
Here we
without
go.
either hating on the Wii U or hating on
Prepare
the
yourselves,
GameCube.
ladies and gentlemen.
Clocked it.
No,
Said he.
we bring up the GameCube. Let me just put it in perspective. We bring up the GameCube because GameCube is very similar as far as like its market penetration.
Yeah, they're both like the failures. So
They're both the failures, both failures, and so we use them because we want to gauge like the first party stuff, and obviously GameCube did way better in third party even than
and
Wii U did.
GameCube. I mean, what did it sell? 20 million.
21 point something.
And Wii U sold 13. But I'd be curious to see like the top GameCube sellers versus the top Wii's, like the
Like
million
Smash
sellers.
is
But
Smash is number
you
one.
know, it is what it is. GameCube for me, it just didn't hit. And I loved clocked it using Warrior World. I said, if you got to use that as like your lead point to the GameCube's library being great, I said that
No,
says a lot.
no.
No, that wasn't the lead point.
No, he
That was just
clocked it.
another
He
point.
kept
Oh my goodness.
clocked it. Showed that he took a picture of it that he has it, and I said, "Yeah, if that's your example of the great library," I said that. But anyway, apologize to the GameCube fans.
No, you don't. Don't lie to
Um,
him. He don't give a fuck.
I don't know about juice. I love the GameCube. I love it. So,
That's one of
but
the
if
probably.
you were there at the
Well, that makes
time
one of you. That makes
and you
one of
weren't 8 years old, you were an adult at the time. The perspective of GameCube was very different than you remember as being a little kid. People shit on the GameCube daily. It was just as bad as Wii U in some instances. It was so forgotten. It was so disrespected. Watching G4, they didn't even talk about the GameCube version, even when it had one.
And it was a
Even
better version than the
it was a better
PS2.
version, but it was like it was all about Xbox. And Xbox only sold 2 million more than GameCube.
Mm.
That's what really just destroys my mind. Is like it didn't even do that much better than the GameCube, but they talk about it like it was PlayStation 2 and Xbox, and they were neck and
I
neck.
bet the US
No.
it was quite a bit more because Japan the GameCube I'm guessing did pretty well. I don't know how well, but I bet you the Xbox barely touched Japan versus
Yeah,
the
Xbox
GameCube.
didn't do shit in Japan.
So
The
then
original.
Nah.
None of
But-
them have done.
I guess let me just say this about the GameCube. I was the guy who was watching reviews, making to see that the GameCube version was better than the PS2 version. I was celebrating that stuff. I was a Nintendo fan through and through.
And boy,
I love that shit. I loved seeing the reviews for the multiplats, and yep, this is in between, closer to the Xbox It's better than the PS2 version. I got so excited about that stuff. Just
Smash, Mario Kart, Sunshine, Wind Waker, Luigi's Mansion, top 5
for you.
for GameCube.
Oh, sales.
You were talking about sales.
I was wondering like units sold. Like, did it have how many 5 million sellers? Because Wii U actually.
Smash is 7.4 million.
Okay, that's good.
Double Dash is 6.9. Mario Sunshine is 6.2. Wind Waker is 4.4. So that was the last. So there's no 5 at all. there's a 6 and then there's a 4.
That says a lot though that Mario Kart 8 sold what 7-8 million on Wii U at a lot smaller install base.
That's when Mario Kart just kept selling more and more since the Super Nintendo version.
So I mean, I liked. Don't get me wrong. At the time, I was enjoying the GameCube. I did buy an Xbox about a year and a half into the GameCube's life because I just
weren't enjoying it that much.
I was missing out. I was missing out on some games, multiplats, and I want to try Halo and some other games.
I couldn't bring myself to buy a Pony Station, so I had to. Get
I never did. So
really.
The DVD station. It took me after the generation before I. Well, no. Yeah, it was pretty much after the generation when I bought a PS2. I had my PS1 though, so.
So anyway, yeah. Retro, you got it. What's your? I know you love the GameCube. We were talking about libraries too, and that.
Like I said, for me, it's my second favorite console of all time. Sometimes I put it on first, but realistically, I put it on second. For me personally, it had like so much to offer. It brought me like several of my favorite games of all time. Like several top 10 video games are in there. You got like Prime 1, Tales of Symphonia, Skies of Arcadia, Bot and Kaitos, like all these RPGs.
Prime
On top
2.
of that, I love what they did with the first time we got like Prime, like the skill of Wind Waker, everything else that it brought, the upgrades to, even though they're not my favorite of the franchise, but the upgrades to Melee, it's literally my most game played of all time. Double Dash, like you have all these IP that people tend to forget. I consider Luigi's Mansion a full game. We have like Wave Race and WarioWare and Wario World, like all this stuff. The point is not that Wario World uses an argument. No, it's to say that there's so much first party shit on the GameCube that I had my full fill. And on top of that, like you said, it gave me all that third party shit, so I didn't need to buy like a PlayStation, Xbox, or anything. The Cube just satisfied me immensely between like all the exclusives it had, like the RPGs it had, and the first party shit. It brought like new shit like Pikmin, but not just that. You have Pikmin 1 and you have Pikmin 2. Prime 1, Prime 2, you got 2 Star Fox games on there. Wave Race, there's so much fucking shit on there.
Prime 2.
Hey, I'm not saying that's my favorite. I'm saying that's what it brought.
Real quick. Like we were saying, Wii U gets shit on, and it's still new. There'll probably be a time where it turns when people will remember it fondly. But Wii U gets shit on, and GameCube is now fondly remembered, even though at the time, like I said, it got shit on constantly. So I think my argument is, okay, to get people up to speed quicker than it took people to come around to the GameCube, because it took a minute for people to come around to the GameCube. I think it was like maybe early 2010s when people were like, oh, the GameCube was the greatest.
A couple years ago, it hit fever pitch, though.
Oh, yeah, it went crazy.
I started selling controllers and stuff online.
So, IP-wise, who has, you can look, this is why I'm only comparing, because it's like, again, who had the better representation? Do you think Melee's better than
Smash 4?
Smash 4. I forget the name because it's a bland ass name.
Smash for Wii U, yeah.
I mean, that's
kind of how I judge it too.
Right?
What you
is Double Dash better than Mario Kart 8?
I always said I think Double Track
Sunshine
and
better than
Melee
3D
are my
World?
least favorite, like by far. But again, then you have all the other stuff. Like I said, you have Wave Ways, you have F-Zero, you have Wario, you have all these IP, Star, all that stuff. You have a lot of IP, not Starfire, but you have all these IP that are not even represented at all.
You had
a different
Different
question. Different question.
What's happening?
Nintendo could not be bothered to even touch those fucking things.
But you can use it as an argument. It doesn't change the fact that they're not on there.
No, a different question.
Let me finish what I'm saying. I'm not using that as an argument. Go ahead.
No, I think it's what you're about to say. That like, what do you which system handled the IPs that they both use better, I guess. To say, would you
Yeah,
prefer the
I can't
series
compare a
that
fucking
came out
game that wasn't
on
made.
the Wii U or the series that for you? It sounds like you at least prefer the the Wii games of the franchise that came out on both. The Wii U franchise that came out on both. Not that you prefer the Wii U overall, but at least the franchise
No,
that came
I
out on
like the
both
GameCube
platforms.
better overall.
Would you say that the Wii U at least was better in terms of the franchise they used, the both of them?
when they both had. That's kind of where I.
That's what. Yeah, that's
That's
what
kinda
I'm-
how I
Would you
viewed it.
agree?
That's such a shady argument to give. Okay,
No,
we're
no,
not
no,
going
no,
to
no,
count
no, I'm just
Oh,
saying.
my
Listen,
Lord.
just what it
I knew this was gonna happen.
No, I'm not saying that if you confirm it, that means you think the Wii is better. I'm
You
not
don't
saying that.
enjoy
I'm just
this
saying,
chaos.
I'm just saying, I don't
Between-
think the Wii U's a better console. I said the GameCube.
Yeah, we
if
could
you-
break
if
down.
you
Yeah,
have
the
to,
similarities.
if you have to break down every Nintendo system, right? And you look and you name the franchises that they were all say all the Mario games on each one, all the Mario Karts, the Smashes, the Kirby's, the and then if you
Yoshis.
compare between GameCube, it would be kind of a cool ranking to see like.
Well, if you
name
want to
every
see it,
single one.
okay, if you want to see it like that, which are between the GameCube and the Wii U.
They
Yeah,
use
Wii
the
U
same
had the
IPs.
better Mario Kart. Wii U had the better Smash. GameCube for me had the better Star Fox, no matter what you say.
Okay.
GameCube had the better Mario game with Sunshine, no matter what you say to me. GameCube for me
What?
had, depending on what
Better
you
than
say,
3D?
like it had the
No.
best and more franchises and shit.
Which one had the better
Better than 3D
Yoshi
World? You think
game?
Sunshine better than
Did
3D World?
GameCube have a Yoshi game?
No, it didn't.
No.
Did
No.
GameCube have a
It doesn't
Kirby?
have it, so you're not allowed
Yeah.
to count
You
it.
can't
right.
compare. Yeah, so you can't use that one. You can't use
Yeah.
Yes,
Woolly
you
World.
can use
can't-
Yoshi because the
Donkey Kong?
GameCube doesn't have
Donkey
it.
Kong?
Donkey Kong. That's
Well, I'm
easy.
curious. What do you think? What do you think, Retro? I've never heard your
Okay,
thoughts on Jungle
well,
Beat.
let me say it like this though. Do you count Jungle Beat as a mainline Donkey Kong game?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a platform.
Okay, well then it goes to the Wii U. I always said
Oh.
Tropical Freeze is by far the best Donkey Kong game ever made.
But what
That's
about
without question.
what's another franchise I did? Well, Pikmin
Which one
3
had
and
the
Pik-
best
Well,
2D
that's tough because
Mario?
I don't think that's fair. I'd be like
You
Pikmin
can't
3
count
versus
Pikmin. Wii U
1
had no
and 2.
Pikmin.
Wii U? Pikmin 3.
What are
Pikmin
you
3.
talking about?
Not Pikmin 3, yes. I always stated, and you can find videos going back 10 years. Pikmin 2 is by far my favorite.
Oh yeah, right.
Because I prefer that Pikmin 2 focused a lot more on like real life objects, like batteries and Game & Watches and stuff. It felt darker and more real compared to just looking at fruit all the fucking time. Like
How
that's just
about
I
how
feel.
about Wind Waker versus Breath of the Wild? That's a tough one. I feel.
Or
like.
Twilight
Yeah,
Princess.
That's
well,
tough. That's or
Breath-
Twilight Princess. I
Wind
guess.
Waker
That's
versus
not-
HD.
I'm a big defender for Wind Waker, but Breath
Of course,
the
but
Wild
that's
is
still
clearly a
tough.
better
That's
You
still
know
a
what-
tough choice.
You know what's interesting? I was
I don't.
thinking
I don't.
about this.
I mean,
I feel like this was not.
Technically,
worth
the
it.
Wii U is a Wii, so this
Yeah.
this technically counts. But I said the two of
This is
the
Hode. This is Hode.
two of the better games on the GameCube. The GameCube version isn't even the best version of that game. It's Pikmin's, the Wii version's the best. I think Metroid Prime 1 and 2, the Wii version's the best.
Absolutely not.
Wind Waker HD's the better of the of those two versions.
This was y'all hold this
So-
man. I want you to
To
understand
be
this.
fair though,
I just thought that was interesting.
I feel like I think y'all knew what was about to happen.
They can move the goal.
No, I
This-
was
this
gonna
is
say
fun.
include that into
This is
the
absolutely
conversation.
fun.
I
Y'all should
wouldn't
feel
include
ashamed
that.
of yourselves. How dare y'all?
Hey.
The
fuck?
reason I wouldn't include that is because we would all be annoyed as fuck if we're talking to some Switch fanboy person here saying, "Well, you know what? 3D World's better on fucking Switch."
I know,
bitch,"
I'm
and so
just
that don't
fucking
count on
around.
Wii U,
It
right?
isn't
Yeah,
true
what,
though.
what are they gonna say? Look at these ports.
I just played.
Well, they're gonna say, yeah, but this one's got this one, and Pikmin 3's got more shit, and blah blah blah.
I finished World 2 of 3D World on Switch, and it's definitely not the best version of the game. Using the gyro pointer to try to fucking tap the things as you're jumping instead of just touching on the screen.
You got 3D World? Oh yeah, because you got Bowser's
Yeah.
Fury.
Yeah,
Um,
they got Bowser's Fury.
All right, so let's
I don't
pivot
even
here
count that
because
shit.
I went to Best Buy
This is fucked.
on
don't
I
like this
forget what
topic
day
yet.
that was, and I think I brought this up. I've been there twice since the last podcast, I think. Or first of all, the thing I noticed there had walked in, there was Series X and S's, just like on display, and I was surprised. Second thing is the physical games at Best Buy. I only showed the Xbox one, but honestly, the Switch and PlayStation ones are just fucking barely. I mean, they're almost not even half full. So physical games, Best Buy, just like with physical Blu-rays, it seems to be on a massive decline, and it was just embarrassing.
I would agree.
Walmart, though, you go to Walmart, they got.
Say, then you go to Walmart and that shit is
They
like
got
a spread.
shit ton. So
that seems like a Best Buy problem. I don't really go to Best Buy.
because my buddy's all into PC stuff, I was like, let me see if they have any graphics cards. Well, I turned the corner and here's Switch OLED, and the Switch Lite, and I was like, man, I've never seen the Switch OLED in person. So on both systems, I booted up Breath of the Wild demo, and they start at the exact same place, time of day, everything. And I sent you guys a screenshot. It was the biggest. I mean, the difference between the two exact same games, the colors, the brightness, it looked like...
You don't have to send me a screenshot.
Yeah.
I have an OLED.
It looked like the Switch, the it's the red box Switch. It looked like the brightness was down to like 20%. Terrell has one.
Yeah, I have one.
You couldn't go into the settings.
Me too.
But it looked like the brightness of the regular Switch was, maybe it was on adaptive, I don't know. But the colors.
On purpose, though. That's how they sell shit in stores. That's what they do with TVs too. They put like the cheap TVs and like a shittier brightness, and then the more expensive ones more vibrant. So you tend to buy the more expensive shit.
I don't see Nintendo going in and tweaking. I mean, all you can change is the brightness.
People in the store would.
Dude, I pulled out. I have mine here.
All you can do is adjust the brightness, but the color was so much more like the greens were actually green.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't fucking do anything to it. You can
looked
tell just by looking
phenomenal.
Screens.
Like I'm like, I know OLEDs are amazing. I didn't think it would make that much difference for a Switch game.
It's nuts. When I got Bayonetta 3 in New York, that was probably the first time in a minute I had played in handheld mode, and I was like, this shit looks great. And for the fuck of it, I remember when I got back, I was like, you know what? I'm curious, is that just the OLED difference, or if that's just me? Man, that's that OLED.
It's the OLED, man.
That's that OLED.
And it got me looking at my Steam Deck sideways.
Like, what the fuck?
Bro, why you don't look like that, right?
Yeah. What the fuck is going on?
It's just such a shame they didn't just go that little extra. I don't think it would have done anything hardware-wise. Software-wise, they would have implemented like HDR, because the OLED's already capable of HDR. Yeah. It already looks like it in comparison, but I was fucking blown. I almost bought one right then and there. I ain't gonna lie. I looked at the box. I almost walked out with one. I was like, holy shit. Like, it's fucking...
And I didn't buy the whole thing. I just bought the tablet, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't care. I didn't care about the dock or any of that stuff. I just wanted the tablet.
And, I like that dock, though, man.
I like the dock, man.
I got it for $220, just the tablet.
Oh, okay.
So,
I ain't bad.
Yeah.
I was impressed. Like, it still sucks. Like I said, they went for battery life. If that thing with that screen, if they could have just give you the option to run the games in portable mode in the dock settings, like whatever the resolution, all the settings, pretend it's the docked, just run it at that, give me 3 hours of battery life. Like, I think that would have raised it even higher. And I think
what do you mean?
If you would be able to switch on while you're in portable play, have it run the games and like it's docked, like the dock settings. So
okay, I got you.
Higher resolution, some differences in quality. There's even a few games where frame rate, I think, changes. And then they've just been able to squeeze even more out of that screen. And I think it would have made it look significantly closer to like a PS4 game on the go type of thing. But I was like,
I just like the build of it as well. I like a lot better.
I noticed though the Joy-Cons, they felt exactly. I went back and forth the bit of looseness when you kind of bend them in and out.
That's why I don't care that.
Yeah, it's not that.
It's not any better. Really they said they fixed something to make it so it's tighter. It isn't. And then it's funny.
It felt like that for me because it was new.
There was Joy-Con drift on the regular Switch.
Right.
So it's but yeah, I was very impressed. 350 just seems a little high. I don't know what I could get for mine that I have.
20, man.
Because now I have.
Remember, I sold mine for 300.
I got stick drift and I switched out the case.
There was like a mini shortage going on, right?
Not right now. Now there's
No,
plenty
no,
of
at the
them.
time he said
now.
it is.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'd consider it, but
You could probably still. I would.
You
I
could
bet
still
you
get
could,
200.
you could probably
or something
still
for it.
2 to 250. I bet.
Yeah, I would agree. You could probably get at least 2. I think you get up to
Only
250.
Keep my other one because you can hack the shit out of it. That's what it is.
You have a
old
Steam
model.
Deck, man. Aren't you satisfied?
Yeah,
You ain't. I know you ain't.
I like to play on Nintendo hardware.
Yeah, no,
when I'm
yeah,
gaming.
bullshit. You
yeah.
Like,
Imagine if
man,
the
you
Steam
know.
Deck had that screen. That
does
would
man
be.
with 2
Oh
Steam
man,
Decks.
I'll buy one today.
I don't even
I'll
know if
buy
that's.
another one, dude.
I don't know if that screen's even that much more. Like I don't know. It would have probably.
It can't be that much more expensive.
If Nintendo can put it on there, and in the bigger size made more of a difference than I thought too. The screen.
But I can see why Steam didn't do it or Valve didn't do it because they're already losing their asses on these things to begin with. You know, there's nothing comparable specs wise, portable gaming computer that is within $400
No.
of what they're offering. I mean,
Yeah.
it's super cheap, but they can get away with that because they have the fucking Steam store. And so they make their money back. They damn sure made their money back on my ass because I got like 300 fucking games
Hey
now.
man, listen, I was trying to win one during the Game Awards when they had the little thing going on where
What happened?
if you watch the stream on if you watch the Game Awards on Steam,
Yeah.
like every minute they were giving away
They
a
were giving
console.
one. Yeah, every minute they were giving one away. It's like damn.
So
The
they gave
problem
like
is-
10 away during the Christopher Judge acceptance speech. So
Man, I was so mad. That
I-
was
That's
the
why. That's
worst.
why That's why Jeff Keighley joked. He said
it
he's trying to
literally
get more
felt
Steam
like
Deck.
30 minutes, and I saw a time lapse. It was only like 8 minutes. I was like, that felt like
Yeah.
30.
Oh,
No,
he
it was
dragged.
like
It felt
9,
like
10.
it dragged.
Well, they
That
went
was the
from
problem.
when he got up there and actually started talking till he turned to walk away. So it was like just under.
Oh, you
8
mean when the
minutes.
music started playing to give him the fuck off?
No, when
the
he actually
stage?
turned.
It made it sound more epic though when they put the music on.
They were trying to get him the
And I
fuck
love
off
how
the
he'd
stage,
pause.
man.
He would
What's
pause.
that dude that came on the Showtime at the Apollo with the fucking? That comes dancing.
Yeah,
up there
yeah,
with the,
yeah, I know what you're talking about. And then come on, it's out of here, boy.
he has to come out there and pull him off the stage. Goddamn.
Yeah, we'll
I
talk
love
about the
that
Game
shit.
Awards because that was. I actually watched it. I said last couple years I didn't. I started with Terrell's stream. I jumped around about 3 or 4 different people doing live reactions, and I was like, you know what? There was a couple of good moments. I was like, let me just watch it on my own, and I ended up just watching it the whole
Not
thing.
I, said T.
So we'll talk about that. We can in a little bit. I feel like there was something else. I was gonna ask Terrell.
Card.
Oh,
Huh?
I was gonna ask Terrell
What?
if he started Sonic.
Yeah, I did. I finished Bayonetta 3. What was that? Fucking Thursday. I finished Bayonetta 3.
The
And then I
ending
start
get you
to
mad?
actually-
Were you mad at the ending, or did you like it?
I came out of that kind of weird because people talk about the whole romance thing, and to me that was like the least important thing that was
I
going
know
on.
it is, but I don't
Like,
want.
I'm
You can't
like,
talk
everything
about
else-
it.
I'm not like everything else that's going on. I'm like, what the fuck? And people are like, what about the kiss though? Bitch, what? Like, look at the rest of the plot. I know we can't talk about it, but I'm just saying. So I started Sonic. I want to say I have somewhere in like 3 or 4 hours in it. I don't have as many because of timing and other things I was doing. But man, that is the best Sonic has ever controlled. I would argue it's too early for me to say I think
Better
it
than
controls great.
Adventure 2?
That's what I'm saying. It's too
I've
early.
heard Nintendo Life said the controls were like really solid, like really.
It's
the
really
highlight.
it's really good, and they put in the settings. You can just customize the shit out of him. Like if you don't like the way he turns, if you don't like his top speed, if you don't like how the camera changes when you're boosting with him, I think Sega finds it. Fuck it, we're gonna let you design. We're gonna let you pick how you want this motherfucker to run. And I very much appreciate it because at the very least, even if you don't like the default, I fuck with the default controls. But in case you don't, they gave you the options right there. And also, I'm playing on Xbox Series X, so I had to turn to the first thing I had to do was turn to performance mode because fuck the quality mode. The quality mode I don't think is locked, or it doesn't feel like it's locked.
It's 30.
Or I don't know, huh?
It's 30. I'm sure
Is
it's
it?
locked. Yeah,
That's why.
and it's
So I
on
said,
by
fuck it.
default. Stupid.
Yeah, so I switched it to performance, and I was like, oh, this feels so much better. Dude, I have never felt that much at peace just exploring a world, dog. Like and people were talking about, oh, the music
It's
is
the best
ambient,
open
which
world game of the year. I seen somebody say.
I'm not gonna say that. That's a bold statement.
It's not
But
even
like,
open world, to be honest.
Yeah, Sega doesn't even describe it. It's open zone that Sega describes.
Like more like Arceus.
Yeah.
Actually, Arceus would be the best comparison. I would agree, Robert. That's literally
Hey,
what
then
it
we're
is.
gonna use my term that I coined. It's segmented open world, bitch.
Well, but
Listen, do you want fucking royalty, sir? Is that what you want?
Yes, I do.
Because I'm not gonna give it to you. It's just I know when the footage was first coming out and we saw the platforms floating in midair and the shit sitting on the random rocks and springs in the middle of the air, that shit aesthetically will always look weird and dumb. But man, I don't give a fuck. Like I couldn't. I was just enjoying the platforming. I think the first hour I just had to realize, oh fuck, this is actually consistent controls. I had to get confident with my ability to risk making ridiculous jumps and leaps and shit. And the game just gives you the ability to fucking explore and just do what you want. Ironically enough, the worst part of the game for me so far is the levels that feel like Sonic levels. I hate those fucking levels. Why? Funny. Let me tell you why. One, he controls differently in those levels, which is the first problem. And any of the upgrades you do, like to his speed or his like power, or whatever the fuck,
they don't have any effect.
They don't change it. He gets this lock default, and his controls are all types of fucked up, and you can't customize the controls in those levels. But the good news is, and as I found out, I don't even have to play those levels. I don't want to, because the keys you get from those levels, you can get doing. There's a fishing mini game you can do with Big the cat. They made the fishing mini game really chill and really easy and really rewarding. So if I don't want to deal with those levels, I don't have to. And certain enemies will drop those keys anyway. I just been enjoying the atmosphere. I've been enjoying the music. I got scared because I got only 2 to 3 hours into it, and I started questioning if this was my favorite Sonic game of 3D wise, and I was like, hold up.
Well, we know what your game of the year is.
Wait a minute. I got scared. I said, wait a minute, this don't feel right. I've only started the game. It scared me. I genuinely was terrified.
That's why we go to Steam and we see what the Sonic fans rate it.
I had to relax for a minute. I was like, fuck. It's going to be one of those games. It's going to be highly rare. I know I'm going to fuck with it.
I know.
I'm living.
You know the weakest part?
And here's the kicker. Fire beginning of next year, bitch.
Yeah, literally next month is a Fire Emblem game for this man.
The weakest part of the year is the game I thought would be your game of the year, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. He's going to be done with Sonic, Bayonetta, and finished Pokemon already while he's only hasn't even finished 3 yet.
It's a way longer game than any of those.
And I just started chapter 6 in 3. I played 3 on Saturday. That's the reason why I didn't play Sonic as much.
Is there 7 chapters?
Yeah, 7 chapters. I'm on the second to last chapter.
It's not like 6 is short though. That's
hours.
That's hours.
Hey, listen,
hours. 10 hours probably.
I'm gonna bust through it. All right.
We got two Splatoons, 2 Xenoblade games.
Oh yeah.
3 Fire Emblem games and 1 3D goddamn Mario. 1 3D Mario.
And no brand new 2D Mario.
No Star Fox, no Donkey Kong, no. Man, come on, man.
Hey, man, but you're getting 2 Zeldas.
No 2D Mario. No,
you're getting 2 Zeldas. You're getting 2 Zeldas, though.
Yeah, we ain't got it yet, though. I'm saying we're getting it right now.
Yeah, look, you got next year.
2 Mario parties.
Early next year, too. It's not even fucking. It's not even holiday. You got 2 Mario parties.
We even got like a bunch of Kirby stuff, man.
3 sports games.
Forgotten Kingdom.
Kirby won't say this.
3 Kirby.
Forgotten Game and Forgotten Land.
Wow. Come on, T. Come on.
You know, I heard some things about
Forgotten Land is good. I'm talking about the other one before that. Do we even count that? That game, that game plays itself. Just watch it play.
I mean, Star Allies is.
So I was on the Sandstorms podcast on Saturday, and he wanted to do like Game of the Year stuff. And to hear, there was like 8 people, 8 or 9. And he asked everybody who had played Kirby's their opinions, and these are all diehard Nintendo fans. And it's funny because I never, like I said, I never really seen much after that game come out. I know Clocked It posted some pics, but they were talking like that game's like 4 to 5 hours. I don't know. I never heard. I don't.
No.
Well, I can't go by
here,
retro
Wait, what
death.
game? What game?
Kirby and the Forgotten
You
Land.
want me to do the whole
Retro probably have 20 hours to be on the second world.
I'll let you know right now.
Yeah, you can beat it in 6 if you don't like 100% levels and that kind of stuff.
Well, this. I don't know. You gotta really rush it. So this
No
is
way.
on average.
100% that you beat it like that, because those
These
hard
are on
stages
average.
are like hard, man.
On average, main
Ain't no damn
story.
hard in no damn Kirby game.
Did you
Damn,
play
y'all.
it? Like the challenges in between the levels.
What do they call
get
that level?
Like those.
I'm playing it. What do they call it? The last boss. It's
Well,
tough.
you have like the mini game challenges for each power up. They have like 4 stages each to get like the top level in each of those. On top of that, you have the mode within the game still to beat every boss, for example, without getting touched ones and stuff. To get it
That sounds like post-game stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not talking about like mainline. We're talking
Well,
about
Robert, let us have it, Robert.
So it says that's they're definitely, it can't be 4 to 5 hours. They must have been rushing it. Main story is on average, just for people that played is 10 hours.
Yeah, that's what I mean, man.
So
Yeah,
that-
okay. That's why I was surprised because I figured I would have heard that.
That's why, like,
Yeah.
I feel like I would have heard that, and that's why I was like, I don't remember hearing anything about it being like 4 or 5 hours.
Because that would
People
be
would
like,
have totally been like $60, you know.
well, that's what they were saying. They did, a couple people were like, I don't feel like it was worth the $60, and I was like, oh, I felt that way about A Plague Tale. So
poor Plague.
So let me. I finished.
Game Pass, bro.
I finished A Plague Tale. And
How is it, man?
Chapter 10
How
and
is it?
11, there was some cool stuff, but like, like I said before, it's basically you don't really do any more than you do in Innocence, except they added a lot more slow. You can't do anything walking stuff. We can't do anything but walk and listen to the exposition. The one time that I thought I was going to solve a puzzle, the side character Lucas just told me the solution every time I got to the 4 things to move. He just told me which one to look for immediately. I didn't have to do any thought. They added some quick time stuff. They added the Uncharted, Tomb Raider. Everything's crumbling around you. You got to run away from the camera and towards the camera stuff. And story-wise, I thought it was really cool. But there's no final boss to fight. There's just like an environmental thing you have to get through some waves of rats. It's really simple. There's no final boss. Story-wise, I liked it. The acting was good. But the thing, like I said, to me, the first game I think was $30, $40. This felt like it should have been about the same. I think I had 13 hours clocked in when I finished it.
Like double the length though.
No, I had 9 or 10 in the first one.
Oh,
You got
1.5.
Yeah, it's just what they added to pad the length is just like it's not really gameplay stuff. It's just the most basic stuff, and I mean the music was great too. That was definitely the standout. I thought narrative wise, I think it should have. I don't know what it would have ranked in the game of the year. I know it didn't win, but I think it should have been up there. I thought it was a really cool story and stuff, and I like the characters, but. Going from Xenoblade to Bayonetta to Nier, and then right into A Plague Tale, it just didn't do it for me. So I don't know if it was a timing thing, but so because I was so disappointed with that, I was like, I can't, I definitely was gonna play God of War anyway. I was like, I'm just gonna buy it. Fuck it. I had a $20 Visa card for my birthday, and I was like, I'll just go there.
Yeah.
And I told you guys. I was trying to think of the last game that was this polished, and I think I boiled it down to Odyssey or Smash Ultimate. Whatever one you think's more polished. I would probably say Odyssey just because it's, Smash is always polished. So I would say the last time I felt like, wow, this game just like, they spent a lot of time polishing this game. It was probably Odyssey. So in the last 5 years, there's not one. I have no gripes. There's no technical gripes. There's no gameplay gripes. There's no story. Like, I'm not sitting here saying it's better than Elden Ring. It's not. It's not doing anything like, game changing. It's just a really good sequel and literally the most polished game. It's the most polished PlayStation game I think I've ever played, especially compared to Horizon earlier this year. Was pretty glitchy and buggy and stuff.
You don't think? I mean, Last of Us Part 2. I don't remember
Last of Us 2 was pretty
glitches
good.
or anything.
Yeah,
Man. That's
say
really
that's up to
a
that
really tight,
But I
game.
mean, like, just if you like the first game, I think this improves it, streamlines stuff. They added like a fast climb. There's a lot of sections you can just throw your blades and you yank yourself up. You don't have to slow climb everywhere. There's a few spots where you still have to climb. They like the camera turn speed is so smooth. It's so fast. It's just amazing. I'm about 10 hours in, and I mean, not even joking. I bet there in those 10 hours compared to the 13 in A Plague Tale, I'd say there's at least 10 times the amount of gameplay in those 10 hours. I know they're two different games, but there's this exploration everywhere. There's just open areas where you can find a bunch of shit, a bunch of treasure chests, and man, it just controls so great. It just, honestly, I'm impressed. I didn't think I was gonna like it this much because I liked the first game. I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10. I think it was like my fourth or third game of the. Maybe it was 8.5 because I think it was 4 or 3.
2018. I thought you loved that fucking game.
I think it was 4 or 3 on my 2018 list. Pretty
It's
sure.
funny because I watched some dudes who make fun of fanboys. I can't remember their fucking names. And he put up a clip about what's J-Tech.
Oh no! Don't you bring him up?
But it's funny because like a few days ago, J-Tech was like, "Oh, it's gonna be Elden Ring's gonna win Game of the Year." So and he seemed pretty calm. He was like, "All right, it was gonna win Game." So then he has this
Probably
scream.
devastated.
He's screaming, "I told y'all, it's a bullshit." Blah blah blah. I'm like, his point was similar to what you were saying, Juice, about it won all these other awards. Why didn't it win Game of the Year? Right?
That is a weird.
But it didn't.
Well, I'm just saying it was similar. I'm not saying exactly like
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, if you go back to 2018, Red Dead won all those fucking awards, and it didn't win Game of the Year. God of War did.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like,
it won a lot of the tech. It won more of the technical type awards. It didn't win. It didn't even win for direction. Elden Ring won.
His logic was, they won all these other awards. It clearly should be Game of the Year. But you weren't saying about God of War 2018 when it won, and Red Dead won all the awards. So it's just
now if it would have,
it's not the same energy.
If God of War and Elden Ring, I think the reason they put Elden Ring as, I mean, I heard a pretty convincing argument that it's an RPG, but I think if they had put them both in the action adventure category, and God of War had won that, then yeah, I would have been like, how did it win that against Elden Ring? But they weren't in any other shared categories other than like narrative and best direction.
Narrative, it was art direction, but audio design.
Yeah.
Was it audio design?
I don't know if
it was. Remember, you're like, wait, why would Elden Ring be an audio design?
I get this from watching Red Letter Media. My thing is because they do best of the worst, like best of the genre, and it's like, okay, your movie could be, or your game could be a better representation of the genre. Say you have a sci-fi movie or a sci-fi game, and your game might be a better representation, more about the genre of sci-fi than the other game was. But the other game was just a better goddamn game.
Yeah.
So that's how you can look at it. It's like, okay, yeah, it won in the category of the game it's in, but overall it could still be beat by something that just played better and all the other stuff better, you know?
Yeah, I mean, hands down, God of War destroys Elden Ring in the performance, in the quality, the level of polish. It destroys it on the technical. But Elden Ring, like I said in the Stormcast, I said, it's a Breath of the Wild like experience.
To me, that's why it couldn't lose, because I saw people who couldn't give two shits about Soulsborne games fall in love with that game, and it was just like,
it was a phenomenon.
If you can convert people, you won. That's it.
Yeah,
you're the winner. I mean,
I seen. We'll get into this tweet. This dude was.
That's what Zelda did, right? That's what Breath of the Wild did. A lot of people never played a fucking Zelda game until Breath of the Wild, and they're all Zelda fans now. There you
So-
go.
Yeah,
Which is why I think in 2020 Animal Crossing should have won, but you know it is what it is. It converted
I like how that
millions of
hurts you.
people.
It hurts
to
your
the
heart,
game.
don't it?
That's
It
not
hurts
bad
your
logic.
heart, don't it?
I thought it was gonna win. I actually did think it was.
That
So
was
let me-
literally if we think about 2020 and pandemic wise, it's Animal Crossing.
That was the
as
game of the year.
Like,
It
that was
literally
the-
was the game of the
yeah.
year.
But it
Yeah.
is what it is. Whatever.
I got to
Okay.
address
All right.
12 feet tall. I completely disagree. I think
What?
Ragnarok absolutely destroys the original 3 God of War games. Now,
Ooh, that's fighting word, Joe.
now here's what I'm gonna say. I brought this
won't
up
say
last
nothing
week.
to
I
it.
might try to bring this up. I might try to find a way to bring this up every week.
I didn't God of War 3.
We were talking about. I hated God of War 3. We were talking about.
Yeah,
You know how I was talking about Clock Dicks
Damn.
in his Streets of Rage 4 argument.
Uh-huh.
He was trying to say that he felt it deserved a new Streets of Rage deserved an evolution. You know, taking huge budget and maybe make it a 3D game. And really go all in like a Metroid Prime versus like a Super Met. Go all in. And I get that, and I truly believe. Now I played God of War 1, 2, and 3. I only played maybe 4 or 5 hours into 3, and I just couldn't deal with the fixed camera thing. I'm still trying to look around, and he's dodge rolling with the right stick. I just couldn't get over that. I felt like that was a old mechanic they should have evolved from. So I'm playing Ragnarok, and I feel that it's like when we played Mario 64, and you're like, oh, how did they capture Mario in a 3D space? Like, it feels just like Mario, Ocarina of Time. This feels just like Zelda, but I'm in a completely different environment, 3D. This feels like the true evolution of what God of War started for me. A game where you can look around, and especially with your Blades of Chaos, this feels like the true evolution. I don't think it feels drastically different. Obviously, the father-son thing's a big difference, but his family, he was a family guy in the first game. His family got killed. Spoilers. It's like in the opening.
It's like in the opening of the
Yeah,
goddamn.
that's why he is on his rampage.
Yeah, I heard that's why he's got his ashes of
Yeah.
the
It just, I mean, I get it if you prefer the old games, but to me, because I liked them, I didn't love them. This feels like the natural evolution. This is where now I can look around and playing God of War, controlling Kratos. This is what I think it should have been. Like, that's what I think the evolution should have been. And it's just, when I say, like, you guys know me on my technical stuff, like, I always nitpick something. It's probably the first game I played. It's definitely the first 2022 game where I look around and there's no stuttering. When the camera moves, there's no stuttering. There's no popping. There's no textures popping in. There's nothing. It's just a flawless technical experience. Audio design. The music's good. I don't think it's Game of the Year winner good like it was. I don't think it should have won Game of the Year for the music I've heard so far.
Especially when Xenoblade was on that
It's
list.
just a solid package, and honestly, I don't care where your loyalties lie. This is the type of polished experience you should hope for on your console of your favorite system. Like, you might not like the game. I don't care. Terrell didn't love the game, but at the same time, you shouldn't be mad at such a polished, excellent product put out. For people to be able to play.
It's working. I mean, 2 Game of the Year awards for or nominations. One win. Clearly, it's working. What to me, I've tried. God of War is similar to Metal Gear Solid for me. Whereas I always buy them, but I never finish them. I just lose interest. And that's how it's been with the first. I have literally every God of War game except for the latest one, Ragnarok. Yeah. And I don't have Ascension either. Because I heard terrible things, so I never touched that one. But I have them all.
Vita game?
No, it was supposed to be like a VR or something. I forget what it was supposed to be.
Ascension?
A move. It was supposed to be a move game.
A move game, and they converted it to regular controls, and it feels like it from what I've seen. It looks like what's that game that came out for the Rome
Yeah,
what is
Son
that?
of
Rise.
Rise.
Son of
Yeah,
Rise.
Rise was
Where it was the Connect game, and then they converted it, and you can tell like it's
Mm.
kind of cheap as far as combat and all that kind of stuff goes.
Damn.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Ayers is right. Sony's template of like really high quality games. I mean, yeah, Horizon was pretty buggy though, I will say.
You feel bad that game didn't win shit. That was such a.
Well, how was it gonna though? To be fair, no offense.
I'm just
to
saying,
Horizon.
but Robert,
it was up against
seems
tough
like
shits. It was
No.
up against very
All I'm
tough
saying
stuff.
is, it seems like Horizon seems to get hoed every time it comes out.
Yeah,
In some
Like,
way,
if
shape, or form.
it came out
Horizon.
last year, or if it came.
I don't know if it would have won
last
last
year.
year.
It came out
What-
last year. Well,
It might have. It would. Yeah, it takes
it
two.
would have won
would've-
some stuff.
it would've
would've
won
some
some things.
stuff. I
Yeah,
don't
it
think it
just-
would have won Game of the Year. It would have won some
it
stuff.
I'm
got
just saying,
nominated,
if
right,
it-
in 2017.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Zelda.
Lost, I think, ever since.
Zelda-
Yeah, but Zelda won. But at least it got nominated. They ain't
Yeah,
even.
yeah.
Bayonetta 3,
Well,
I
no.
feel like I was glad it won, but I mean, I personally, I think it destroys like a game like a Plague Tale, and I don't know how Stray got nominated. T, you played it. I know another
Yeah,
guy who
I
played
know
it
what
was like,
because
yeah, it
it-
was pretty fun. It was
Like,
kind of
I
simple.
like
but-
Stray, but it's no fucking game of the year. Get that shit out of here.
I heard
Like, come on.
people really love that game. Some people really fucking adore
Yeah,
that game.
it's like if you're like into cats,
But-
you know.
I'm into
But
cats.
if we're thinking
And-
about
Not,
like
not those
critical
cats.
It's
Shut
not
the
game
fuck
of
up.
the- It's not game of the year though.
if we're thinking about critical reception and stuff, there are so many games that are above a Plague Tale, and
what
Stray
you
that
think about,
Mhm.
man?
it's so mind-boggling. And it's funny because remember talking about Stray, but actually Plague Tale was the lowest scoring out of all of them, and it's bizarre that they would, you know, you had plenty of like.
There's
90,
plenty of fucking
you-
games.
There was people that had. There was things that had
Tunic.
90, like actual
Tunic should have
90.
been in there.
Bro, you had. They could bring up Immortality. That had a 90. They had a Tunic. You had
Vampire Survivors.
Neon White, Mario plus Rabbids.
Bayonetta
got-
3.
Yeah,
You got Bayonetta 3. I mean, you had a
there's
lot.
so many
of,
games.
even Kirby the Forgotten Land had an 86.
Kirby
the
man, like, you know,
That's
you know,
because
like,
that's what the Game Awards is, though. They don't look at what's best here and there. They literally go on Twitter. They see which was the most trending during the year,
Could be.
and that's their
Trending.
picks.
I will say
Twitter.
to I did watch
Stray
digital.
is a Twitter pick. That's a Twitter pick all
Stray
day.
is definitely like a Twitter pick because, like
Yeah.
I said, indie game
I
wise,
was probably
there's if
streaming.
you're picking indie game, Neon White and Immortality and Tunic all scored
Yeah,
for, like
People were
Well,
streaming
higher.
Stray.
we'll get to the game awards in a
Yeah,
second. Let me
yeah,
just.
dude,
Like
what-
such a
you want to know
boring-
why? You want to know why? Because it was a PS Plus game, man. A
Jesus
lot of people.
Christ.
It was a PS Plus game, so a lot of people, you know,
It was PS Plus
Fuck.
Extra.
come and they buy it. They
I
download
would
the
be
game.
so bored watching somebody play Stray. I would be bored to tears.
Mm.
Like it's
So-
fun to play, but to watch, whew.
Let me just finish
imagine.
with this. I didn't watch Digital Foundry's video on God of War because John Linneman he just shows spoilers. He finally gave a warning. I think this is the first video. He'll show end game shit in like the first minute of a analysis video if it shows something
Jesus, fuck.
technical. If it shows something technical he wants to demonstrate. So I've avoided that.
Did he tell you, or he just does it?
He said it for God. Oh, I know people are sensitive to spoilers, and I know I'm kind of hypocritical to say, but literally, he just like.
There's no spoilers for you, man. There's no limit.
He'll show
Dividing
he'll
the
show the
account.
the last fucking stage of a long game, like in the opening of his fucking talking about the game because it looks really good, and it's like,
Asshole.
damn, I'm glad I played this already. But anyway, I can tell you without question. Well, I guess I can't say without question. Like I said, the movie and the camera. There's nothing. It's just, it literally goes this fast, and it could make you dizzy. Not even a hitch. So to me, it demonstrates that I would rather have slightly above PS4 level visuals with like really good, great performance, high frame rates and stuff than whatever a Plague Tale is doing to drop that game down. You turn the camera, it's like Pokemon Scarlet Violet. And
Damn.
they justified it for some of its advanced features. That world is one of the most static environments I've ever seen in a Plague Tale.
It's very pretty. It makes for some great screenshots.
I don't think so, man. I think God of War Horizon
No.
clearly
it makes for
look
some great screenshots.
Yeah, I didn't actually. The screenshots didn't actually look that great, in my opinion.
I see what he's doing there.
I think straight up, the performance modes of Horizon and God of War look more technically impressive whatever, I forget what it is that a Plague Tale uses. I don't know if it's global
it should be.
illumination, but it's a 30 frames per second next gen only game, and it doesn't look as good as, obviously those are flagship game, studios.
Plague Tale is a AA pretending to be AAA, bro.
Yeah, but they justified Digital Foundry's video. They justified the 30 FPS with dips based on some rendering technique it uses, but the end result to me is a less interesting looking game. And yeah, that game probably wouldn't need 60 FPS, but it can't even. It's like every time I move the camera, I'm just like, it's just so juddery. And
I think it needs 60 FPS, especially when you're dealing with the rats and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it would look great.
But so it's just, to me, it's just a game that's two cross-gen games that came out this year absolutely destroy a current gen only title. And I know the studios, a lot of different talent there are. The degree of between the two, the talent gap, I guess you should say,
And budget.
But still, it's like, I don't think I think I would prefer like a cross-gen game where if you have a PS5, you're gonna get like really great performance. I'm guessing God of War runs in the high frame rate mode like 80 to 100 FPS. It's smooth. It's like playing Rocket League smooth at high frame rate. So, but like I said, if you're PlayStation or if you're an Xbox guy or a Nintendo only guy, if I would have described everything I loved about God of War without mentioning that it was God of War or PlayStation exclusive, and been like, hey, would you love for Metroid Prime to be described like this, or for Starfield to be described like this? Everybody would be like, hell yeah, I wish that would be awesome. And I just wanted to point that out because I know I did see some fanboys getting upset about Elden Ring, and it's funny, an Xbox fanboy and a PlayStation fanboy's reaction to Elden Ring winning Game of the Year was like completely different. It was
That's because the Xbox fanboy has nothing.
He was like,
no representation at all.
Because God of War didn't win. Some dude posted, hey, I'm playing the actual Game of the Year on my Xbox Series X. It's like, bro, I played that on my PS5, bro.
What exclusives are you playing, bitch?
You know what's funny? They try to make it like it's a Plague Tale because it was on Game Pass day one, or they're like, well, man, I love Plague Tale. I played on my Game Pass day one, bro.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. You just saying that shit because you got no games. You got
and
none.
someone was saying today, and I find it funny, and it is true for a lot of these, man, and I'm sure it can be also like a fine line for releasing games on Xbox, but like Final Fantasy, the Pixel remasters, 1 to 6 are being released, or they got rated for Switch and PlayStation,
Yes, sir.
no Xbox. Which those are games that for sure you could probably port pretty simply on the Series X. And they were like, "Wow, no fucking Xbox, man, it's crazy." And someone was like, "Well, because damn Xbox gamers, they don't want to buy the game. They're gonna tell them, is it gonna be on Game Pass?" And I'm like, it's not even. It's kind of true, dude. Every time you go on any type of Xbox thing, they're always like, "Man, don't even bother buying it. It's on Game Pass."
Well, Elden Ring wasn't on Game Pass, and that sold.
No, I know, but
that's more the exception than the rule.
That's not fair. I mean, it's funny. That's a funny thing. But if you look at the actual stats, people who put Game Pass actually buy more games. That is a true stat.
Yeah.
But it's still funny. It's a funny narrative. I laugh every time.
So
I feel like every time I go on Twitter, do you know how many people what was the game that I just saw? It was a game that I just saw, and all the time people say, "Bro, don't even." They're like, "Well, don't even. You don't have to get it. Just get it down for free on Game Pass." I'm like, "Fuck off." I hate that.
Free. I hate that stupid shit. That you're paying for Game Pass. It's not free.
You still have to pay for Game Pass.
Free on Game Pass. What are you even talking about? And it's also just so stupid because it's like, what if the guy doesn't have an Xbox? You're just telling him to download. He didn't tell you what he has. He just
your phone, man.
So I heard an interesting. It was Colin Moriarty, who's a fucking idiot.
Oh, fuck him.
Oh, God.
Fuck him.
Recently, I don't think we talked about this. I might have mentioned it. I don't think we got any kind of discussion. Phil Spencer was doing an interview on IGN.
Oh, you're talking about the COD thing?
No, he said that Game Pass people are like,
what you're talking about.
They're like, what do you say to people who are saying that Game Pass is not making money? He's like, well, it's I think 10-15% profitable, whatever he said, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
So
well, the thing is, beforehand, for months, I guess, I don't know. Again, I watch people who make fun of fanboys, so this is how I know. It's secondary knowledge. So apparently, for months, Colin Moriarty has been saying, "Oh, Game Pass is great, but there's no way they're making any money on it.
Yeah.
You're not making any money. There's no way." Blah blah blah. So Phil Spencer came out and said, "Yeah, we're making money," and he was like, "I don't believe you." He just straight up said, "I don't believe you." So
he did. Well, think about it though. If let's say it's 10 or 15% of that is profit, I think that's a lot less. Like you're like, oh, Game Pass brings in what, $100 million a month, whatever, or I don't know what it was. If only 10 or 50% is profit, then yeah, that's not a very sustainable. I will give.
I think it's like $3 billion a year.
I definitely thought it'd be more than that.
Which I'm like, okay, if you look at it that way, especially in 2022, $3 billion. What did they have on Game Pass this year? They had some good deals, but they had 300.
Yeah.
They had $3 billion worth of shit on there. No, not even close.
No, but if you go by like, what's 10% of $3 billion? Like, is that 300 million?
I'll do the math.
But
I think it is though.
He didn't say.
It's 300 million.
I think he didn't specify, and this could be this. And I think Colin Moriarty was trying to just defend his initial argument. But what about a year when Starfield, Redfall, Forza launch?
Right. I was going to get to that.
Does he include the budget, the production cost of in marketing of those games? Is it still profitable with the loss of sales? You don't get anymore because it's on Game Pass. So
yeah, that would.
I'd be curious what the actual
Here's my thing: it's like them knowing that. First of all, you can still buy the game. Like if you don't have Game Pass, you can still buy it.
And you get like 20% off.
Less people buying it, and you get discount. But for Starfield and Redfall in particular, I mean, I guess Microsoft also incurred their debt when they bought Bethesda, but most of those games' development cycles were not on Xbox Dime.
Yeah, but I was just using an example of like a big game.
I guess, but technically it is because, like I said, they incurred Bethesda's debt regardless of when they bought them. So,
right,
when you get a year like there's what they said they've been building to, which is 4 fucking bangers a year, basically. Every quarter they want to have a big first party game. So when you get to a situation when it's like that, it's like, well, is it sustainable? Not at 30 million subscribers. It's not.
No.
They need to get more fucking subscribers. That's the whole point. They need to, and they need to get more subscribers by having more goddamn games. So it's a fucking cycle. It's a circle.
Did you see the? You remember when they used to tote the numbers of like sold to stores or shipped to stores numbers instead of like sold?
Yeah.
Now they're toting the
number of players,
individual counts that. I mean, they didn't specify. I'm assuming booted up a game.
Yeah, the number of players, like, we have 20 million players that are on it.
Yeah, does that could be somebody who, like I did for Abe World or whatever, Abe World on the PS Plus, where I played like an hour and never played it again,
That's fair. But when you have that many people, what is the percentage of them who actually buy something, a skin or a DLC thing or something like that?
Something, right?
That's how these companies make money who do free-to-play games, right? That's how they make their money. They we're going to lose our ass. We're selling this game. We're giving this game away. So we expect such and such amount of players, just like Microsoft is saying, to play this game. And out of that percentage of players, 5% of people are actually going to buy stuff, right? And they calculate it based on that. And they're like, well, we'll make our money back even with that low percentage that's lowballing. We do a really good job, we'll get more people to buy it and more people to buy stuff in it.
I thought the funny part was, though, I forget how many games. I want to say it was 7 or 8 games, and it was Halo Infinite was at 30. Then there's a bunch at like 15, 12, 10. Like if you just took the eight top selling Switch games, it would have been funny to see those like lined up, because I mean, I guarantee you Microsoft would rather, not at this point, but I mean back before when they started Game Pass or before they did that, if they could have, I think they would probably take those individual game sales the Switch is doing, like for those 7-8 games they showed on for the Game Pass players numbers versus just that many people trying the game.
You say that, I'm not so sure, because
I don't know, man. We're talking 40, 50 million.
Figured it out too. That's nice, but that's it. Boom, you're done. 40, 50 million. Boom, you're done. You got people playing fucking Sea of Thieves. 30 million people playing that shit for the last 4 years.
Well, you look at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so that's still making money on DLC. So I mean,
yeah, but it's one DLC pack.
Smash.
It's not buy this, buy that. People continuously, that many people continuously playing your game, buying stuff. I mean, that's why Sony went out and bought fucking Bungie, because they want that. They see, oh yeah, that's they can't continue to make God of Wars and hope it sells 20 million copies and shit. That just
Sony's good. Yeah, Sony's definitely gonna have to do something.
The stupid part is
what they do is they bundle it.
He said that.
They
bundle it.
Like if Nintendo would actually add the characters from Tour and the costumes and sold that as microtransactions, they'd make fucking bank. I'd buy that shit.
Hold on. And Nintendo's different because Nintendo doesn't fucking spend $400 million for their budgets and games. So they make way, they're gonna make way better profits selling 10 million copies.
They're very efficient with how they.
That's why I'm like, if you get let's say you get $30 out of a $60 game, you times that by 30 million. Do some math. I don't know what that is off the top of my head. 9 billion or something.
I'll tell you right now. I don't know.
Seems like a lot. 9 billion.
900. It's more than 900 million.
It's
30 million times $30.
It's 900 million.
Oh, 900
right,
million.
not 9 billion. Okay.
Yeah, 900 million. And then on top of whoever bought the DLC. Well, actually, Mario Kart's at like 40, 50. But anyway, I thought it was interesting.
Well, I'll say this though that I was looking up stuff. So apparently, Xbox Game Pass it makes up 15% of Microsoft content and service revenue. So the entire content and service.
Oh, that's
revenue,
what it makes up.
So it's 15%.
Yeah, he thought it made. Oh yeah.
I thought he said there was 15% of the Game Pass revenue was profit. So that means 85% they spend and 15%.
That's definitely a lot bigger. That's probably a lot bigger. And then it says
it's probably I don't see them. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, and I was just gonna say that when they were what I love about this whole fucking Activision Blizzard thing is there's so many details coming out on that. So regulators in Brazil revealed that Xbox Game Pass pulls in about $2.9 billion in revenue on consoles alone. So they're not even talking about.
Not even talking about PC.
They're not even talking about PC Game Pass.
They do pretty well on PC.
And a lot of Game Pass right now has been accelerated on PC. And slowed down on Xbox because they
ain't no damn games.
not really on that. He says, where did he say that? He says, shit. He says mainly because at some point you've reached everybody on console that wants to subscribe. That was Phil Spencer's thing.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
You have a smaller install base.
It currently has a console.
Obviously, that's going to go up the more consoles.
That'll go up once you have your. I don't even want to say Elder Scrolls 6. Just your Starfield, your stuff like that.
Yeah, your Starfield's dropping. Your fucking what's the
Redfall?
Redfall. What's the
Obsidian's game?
Obsidian's game. Yeah, what is it fucking called?
I thought that.
Avowed.
I thought that was a Game Awards. I was like, is this going to be Avowed? Is this going to be Avowed?
And your
Outer World 2.
And all that stuff drops. Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, but again, like
you're spending more. You're spending more money, so
it'll be curious to see when let's take a look at that.
You gotta spend money to make money,
baby. Down the road, 5 years down the road from now, see, because really, like, I mean, how many years in a row? That was the big thing. How many years in a row have we been? I saw another meme on Twitter that was really funny, and it showed like every year is like this is gonna be the best year on Xbox, baby, and it shows like all the same games.
I was looking at just the
5 years.
Well, we got 2021, which looked pretty good, especially at the end of 2021. And it was like, we're finally fast. We're finally past this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, I'll say, look, I played my Xbox this week, and I had a blast in Halo Infinite, and they had a new update where you could actually the Forge mode they had for I think a month now, but they had actual you could play these actual maps and game modes with a bunch of people, like, and I mean, dude, I was having so much fucking fun. I played that shit for like 5 hours.
And I need to
And
give you your flowers too, because a couple years ago you tried to get us all. You were talking this game up. You tried to get us to play it. I had it downloaded. I didn't realize I had to download it on Game Pass.
The
I started
Portal one.
playing it, and I played it like 3 hours straight, and I was having a good time.
Well,
I had more fun playing this game than I had playing Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I was like, holy!
what are you talking about?
What game?
Is it
New
that
Super Lucky's Tale.
It's a good game,
Oh
man.
my
It's a fun
God.
game.
I'm
Hell
so
yeah.
much fun playing that shit, bro.
No, it's a really good game.
I was surprised.
You know
I
what's
was
funny? I
You're
was
almost
at,
done with it if you play like 3 hours.
I was looking at the bargain bin. I took a
That was
picture
like
of
2
it,
hours.
shared it in the chat. New Super Lucky's Tale is on PS4. I never knew that. I was in the
Yeah,
bargain
yeah,
bin.
yeah.
They
Yeah,
released
it
it, I
came
think,
out-
like last year or some shit.
Because
Yeah,
that
it's-
started
it's
as a Switch
somewhat recent.
exclusive, the new one.
No.
Yeah, it did.
Wait, I
New
thought-
Super Lucky's Tale was
Well, there's-
exclusive to
there's-
Switch.
yeah,
Oh,
was-
that
it was exclusive
version.
to Switch
You're
for
right.
like
You're right.
2
You're right.
years. It was
Yeah,
like
you're
for like
right.
2
You're
years,
right.
and then
Yeah.
they brought the Xbox, and then they brought the PlayStation.
It was
He's
20
lying.
I played the
forgot about
demo.
which is really good.
Thought it was
It's a
okay.
very fun game. It's a very
It
fun
is
game.
fun. I was so surprised. If you like platformer collected
Bro,
tons,
like 3D
I
platforms,
like
man.
the
you
demo
know,
of it, and I liked
it's
it
so
a
good.
lot.
Yeah,
It
no,
was
it's
fun.
really good, man. It's really good, and it's got a lot of personality, and I love the different worlds.
personality.
The different
I
worlds are
I
really.
wish he wasn't
unique.
ashy. I wish the graphics wasn't as ashy as they are.
Oh, I
And
like
what I
the
mean by
dark
that-
side.
Damn.
I needed to be a little bit more contrasty.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit too soft graphically.
Okay.
Kind of like Breath
Well,
of the Wild.
I like the whole digging under the need, and
That
just-
was cool.
It's very very
It was
cool
so
mechanics.
natural. Like it felt like I didn't look at any
Yeah.
of the stupid tutorial stuff. You don't really need that shit. It was so natural how I was just like platforming and moving around and digging and doing all
I
like
enjoyed it a lot.
collecting. You know, you had the little time thing where you collect the little coins or whatever.
Yeah.
You had to collect them. I was breezing through that shit. I was like, this shit controls so
Man, I
well.
thought you were about to. I thought you were about to bring up Minecraft. I thought that's how you're
Oh,
gonna.
no,
say.
no,
I'll be looking at getting Minecraft here
It's on
pretty
Game
soon.
Pass, yo. That's on Game Pass. You gotta.
Get that Avatar DLC.
I play Minecraft with my
Of
kids.
course.
It's not a game for me.
Oh.
It's not for me.
But yeah. So what was I saying that yeah, it seems like that they make pretty damn good money. 2.9 billion and 2.9 billion for 2021. By the way, that's for 2021. So we don't know about 2020. So we don't know about 2022, which.
Which we'll know in March.
I'll be curious to see if it's higher or lower. I would assume it'd be at least a little bit higher or the same, just because
Flatline.
at the end of the year was Halo, and at the end, you know what I mean? Like it was December when Halo came out.
Mhm.
Right.
So if anyone's gonna up their subscription and buy new subscriptions, it's gonna be January, February of this year. So you would think by 2022 you'll see some difference. But yes, go play. That's what I was gonna say. Go play some fucking Halo Infinite, man, because I was playing on Peach's
Forge.
Castle.
So you
and,
like
and a
playing
bunch
those
of
games with
racetracks.
those people created, like
I love 'em,
user
I love
created
'em.
Forge
shit.
mode in Halo has
Yeah.
always been
Bro,
great.
but this is even like they went above and beyond for this one because like it looks like Peach's fucking castle and it looks insane. And when I mean it's so easy to make a game, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome because I literally put lobby public, and then I just put up it's like a private lobby, and I put up a map, and then I literally on the fly could look up different maps from across the world. Pick that map, you don't have to download it, and you just play it, and then people just start joining your lobby. And it's not bots, it's random people from online. And I was like playing Peach Castle, I was alone for like a minute, and all of a sudden I had a lobby. I was like, holy shit, this is not like this in Reach, and I'm so happy.
Yeah.
It's
Three-
such a damn fun. It's so damn
Part 3
fun.
is like we've completely failed with Halo, getting these maps out and stuff. Here, you make them.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which
And that's what people are
I
doing.
don't need to touch another 343 map ever again because I
See,
played
you
in
love
Krusty
that.
Krab,
You love that in
I played in
Trials
Waffle
too.
House. I would play
Yeah.
racetracks, and I was
They're
versing people
completely-
racing them. But what were you saying, Jude?
You like that stuff in Trials.
I love that shit.
Just
bro.
because
I
you
love
can make people can make levels doesn't mean they're good. You know.
it. They're
They should-
really
Halo-
good. Are you kidding?
Halo,
Dude,
in Halo, they are really good.
You gotta
They are
look
really
at,
good.
dude, and especially Trials. There's a lot of really incredible.
I mean, they
tracks in
look
Trials.
cool and it's a cool idea, but is it
You're looking
actually
at
a
them
fun?
troll
I'm
ass-
telling you,
Control
Dude, I
look up-
tried
yes,
them.
No,
It's just
come
like
on,
Mario Maker. Just because people make levels doesn't make them good. You know, there's good
a
ones.
lot of really good Mario Maker levels too.
Nah.
Come on.
Mario Maker.
There's
Yeah,
not
but
a
if you're
lot
just
of-
gonna
you're saying
search
depends on what-
randomly, if you're just
It
go,
depends on what you like in a level.
if you're
Well,
just
to be
gonna
fair,
go by
with Halo,
random, you're never
you
gonna.
gotta understand though. Halo's different because you could see what the overall map's gonna look like. You know, it's a firefight. It's it's a singular map. It's not like it's like gonna like I get it where Mario Maker's like you don't really know how until you actually start playing it and start moving around.
And a lot of the maps in Halo Infinite, in particular, are total recreations of maps that people want anyway. Like, so they're good maps.
Bro, I was
them.
playing. I was playing on High Rise for Modern Warfare 2, and it looks exactly like it. And I'm
Exactly like
what
it, yeah.
the fuck? And I'm just playing Halo
People
Infinite.
got too much goddamn time on
I
their
don't
hands.
understand how it's even possible to make like they had like Mario pixels and stuff, and I'm like, but how? Like I don't understand how, but it's cool.
My
And
brain
I love
doesn't
it.
work that way. My brain doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
Alright,
and I
so,
love it. I think it's great. It is 100% a great game right now. At least with that, like it's awesome. But and I was thinking, you know how I'm technically a year behind? Do I count that as
No.
a part of my?
No.
If I'm saying it's in the top 10 of 2021 or something, technically this came out though. This portion came out in 2022. So it's kind of,
We're not doing that shit.
Well,
Yeah,
Robert's
you-
not going to be in the game of the year because he won't have a
no,
2022
but
game.
I'm just saying like
For years.
can I even count it towards the 2021? Because technically for the 2021 product, it was not there. But I don't know.
I think just Merry Mountain alone in Mario Kart 8 should be Game of the Year. Like, that's it.
Jesus.
I just downloaded that
Which is
DLC.
also,
too.
which is, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. I don't know if you already played it.
I haven't
Fantastic
touched it yet.
update. I know we have to get to the Game Wars, but
Yeah, they
great.
did. They finally
We
added something
retro
I was asking
popped
for
it
in
a minute and
2014.
a hour playing. It was great.
You can actually select the items just like a Smash Brothers. I
Very
asked
cool.
for that in 2014, and with
I've seen
OJ,
some crazy stuff.
I did a podcast with OJ.
Well,
We're talking
it's
about
Nintendo, man. It's Nintendo. They take a
Honestly,
little time.
I think they should have kept that for Mario
Just-
Kart 9.
yeah,
'cause
save that
would've
stuff
been
for Mario
legit.
Kart
That would have
9.
been a legit, like, really.
the
big
game I
thing.
don't have to buy on the Switch 2. It's gonna be
Like,
nice.
where's
Oh
Mario
my
Kart 9
God.
coming?
I mean,
Well,
at this
no,
point,
next,
man, we're
we
gonna
still got
get
so many
Deluxe
maps, man. We still
Ultra,
got so many
man.
maps. You gotta play, bro. These new maps are so fun. They're really,
Anyway,
they're really good.
I knew this was gonna happen.
so I know Terrell watched the Game Awards and
Yeah.
Retro was in there for a little bit. I'll just say it was better than the previous 2 years, but again, with just the world premieres of these needle moving announcements. There's so many games. It's like, that was your world premiere. Like, what the fuck was that? Was that like, it's an announcement. It's basically, it wouldn't even be on the state. We'd be mad at it for being on the state of play or wasting up a Nintendo Direct type games. Like, cut half the world premieres, cut half of the ones out that who gives a shit about.
I'm not do that. They're paying.
There's just so many though. It's just like,
Well, but
there are a lot.
there's a difference though. We're not talking about Nintendo. Now we're talking about you're trying to cater to like every fucking gamer in the world when it's a Game Awards, you know?
when you're doing the world premiere, like it's supposed to be some exciting thing. Everything's a world premiere. So none of them are world premiere because like it's like the Superman. If everybody was Superman, no one's Superman. There's nothing special about 50 world premieres. You know?
I mean, look, I'll be honest. I thought a lot of them look pretty solid, man.
Like,
my problem is
even if it's 10 thought looks solid, I would guess there was like 50.
So here's my thing.
No, you think it was
Towards
50?
the latter
I
half,
don't
towards
think
the
so.
latter half of the show, shit just started blending together. Like the problem is once you keep seeing shit and a lot of them loses their punch. Like Hades 2, fucking right.
That
makes
stood out,
perfect
yeah.
sense. That's exciting. Even
Judas.
yeah, like that. Okay, cool. From the
Death Stranding
creators of-
2.
Yeah, like there are.
Rabbi-
Well, we don't
Rabbi
bring that
Bill
up.
Clinton?
But the problem is, the further we got on, the lesser it felt like the announcements became, to the point where I was just kind of like, "No, here we go. It's another game."
Yeah.
And then I forget it in like 5
they
seconds.
all blend together. That's the problem.
Absolutely. You burn out.
It's too much.
For a 3-hour show.
It also
you just
doesn't
burn
help
out.
that the commercials.
And then
a
there's
lot of
commercials.
Yes.
but a lot of the commercials are also essentially trailers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're actually
Yeah.
game ads.
Yeah, well, it's all game ads, and that's why it's cool. But that's why it's also going to blend into because you never
That's
really.
how you pay
it
the
doesn't end.
bills.
Think about it. No, I'm cool with it,
Yeah.
but it doesn't end. You know, and there's no like okay, now we're splitting the world premiere. It's just world premiere, a trailer, then it cuts to a game ad that is.
We're gonna
essentially
take a
trailer,
break, and then it's just
you
more
know?
trailers. It's like my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
And the funny, a moment. It wasn't funny. I chuckled at it because there was like a minute trailer for Game Pass during the ad break, and it was like a Game Pass trailer or advertisement. And they kept flashing to all these different clips of games, but they did Starfield like 5 or 6 times.
Oh yeah.
They did like Halo Infinite like 3-4 times. Sea of Thieves 3-4 times, but they were spaced out, so it looked like you were seeing 15, 20 different games, and then each time it was just another shot of Starfield, another shot of Halo. I thought that was kind of funny because it really does show that they didn't, they don't have a whole lot of like really new stuff for them coming in the future, but otherwise Xbox wasn't there. Phil Spencer was there, but there was no Xbox.
I don't know why Phil Spencer was there anyway.
I'm gonna look at
sitting in the crowd with a salt face on, like
he ain't doing nothing.
We don't have anything.
I as like the resident like Game Awards hater. I haven't watched the last 3 years. It was like the 3 years before that, it became like the Kojima Awards. I'm like, I'm not doing that shit. I'm not watching it anymore. I'm like, oh, we're gonna change all this shit. Gonna be less ads, less this, more this. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna watch Terrell stream. At least I'll be entertained. So I start watching Terrell stream, and like it's literally the exact same as when I left off. You have way too many commercials. Like a lot of awards get skipped over that shouldn't
rapid
be skipped
fire,
over,
awards,
all that kind of stuff. Then you get like commercials, then you get singing, all this bullshit. Then you get the fucking Kojima Awards, like he's fucking on stage.
That was the worst part.
I'm like, oh my fucking god!
Jeff Keighley was so excited.
I'm like, I'm gonna give this one more shot.
I hate when he does it.
Watching Terrell and that kind of stuff.
I counted on
Christopher Judge comes fucking on.
That was the worst.
That was the first award.
That was the worst. No. It was the worst.
I stopped watching there, and I haven't watched the rest of the show because I couldn't fucking take it.
The sad thing is, here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. As someone who's watched it pretty consistently, this is one of the better shows in comparison.
I thought so.
I honestly thought it was a really solid show.
I heard that.
It's one of the better shows.
All right, T. Let me. So they get Al Pacino, one of the greatest actors. Al Pacino comes out, one of the greatest actors of all time.
But was it Game Awards?
Yeah, he was there.
He announced the first award. He come right out. Show started. Here comes Al Pacino. He saved it, right? I think he totally saved it. It started a little awkward.
This dude couldn't remember half his life.
He saved it though.
I remember he couldn't see the teleprompter.
He saved it. Pacino.
103 years old. Cut him some slack.
Anyway, he saved it. He brought it back. He brought it back. It started a little wonky. He brought it back. Christopher Judge. No offense, the dude is Stargate SG-1 and won couple scenes in The Dark Knight Rises and voice acting Kratos. This dude has the nerve to make Al Pacino, this old man, stand there for 8-9 minutes while he spouts off his fucking bullshit like he's...
Oh my goodness.
Embarrassing.
It was, like I said, actors are so egotistical. I don't care who he was thinking. It's like, dude, you have Al Pacino here. Just thank the people, the most important, and get the fuck off the stage.
He's elderly. He's tired.
He would space it out.
He would stop talking. Then he'd start talking.
Pause and shit. He would pause a lot.
Man, he's talking so slow. Too,
it was so much,
anything useful, man.
It was just rambling, and it's just
when
like.
You think it's over? He went like, "Boy, you."
He wouldn't stop, dog.
Won.
I think I left.
My brother at 40 years old has changed his life. He became an actor. He became a doctor at 40. My son. But okay, that's cool. Get off the stage, like Jesus Christ. Please. Who do you think you are? I'm sorry. Who do you think you are?
Please, dude.
That's just the ego on actors, man.
It was was the worst way to start it off because that's how it started.
It's like he was in some sci-fi show. He had a cameo in this, and he's Kratos' voice.
That's
you had the nerve
compared to Al Pacino standing behind you. You ain't shit.
That's an honor in itself to have Al Pacino give you an award.
Yeah.
I like the original Stargate, but I got so confused.
It was pretty penny. I didn't get Al Pacino there past his bedtime to be giving out Game Awards.
I actually would prefer more. Hey, you could do more longer award speeches than more trailers. Like as much as I mind the trailers, I would like more awards to be.
I would like more awards than trailers. I agree.
Yeah,
You
like
know
the
what I
soundtrack shit and all
See
that
that-
stuff. Why are you skimping over that? But this bitch is standing there for like 10 fucking
Well,
minutes.
they went on too. That was God of War again. They went on. That guy went on
that's
for
right, yeah,
like
yeah,
2
yeah.
minutes.
That's
That
like
sounds-
because people always compare it like this is the Oscars of gaming. No, it's not, and that's why it will never be because they bring on Oscar-winning actors. They bring on people from the other industry.
Mhm.
And so, first of all, why do you want to be the Oscars? The Oscars is boring as shit. Why do you
Yeah.
want to be the
Yeah.
Oscars of anything? Like I understand the sentiment. You want to have that prestige. You want to.
I'll give them credit though. They had a stage, for best action game. It wasn't just rattled off like it was the past years. They had some. I
Yeah.
forget who came
Well, I
out.
think they do different ones.
Announce
like,
the
next year
nominees.
they'll probably do best action adventure. They'll actually instead
Nintendo,
of best action.
send somebody other than Doug fucking Bowser
You know
to
why,
accept
bro?
the
Doug
award.
Bowser for everything, bro. Everything.
Have them
Hey,
have
listen.
Platinum record a fucking thank you.
Because
Accept
I
the
didn't
speech.
expect. Let's be real. I wouldn't have expected to win if I was platinum. I'm just be real about it. I
Why
think we were
not?
blown away.
Best action.
Listen,
There
listen,
was a really
listen.
high odds. They were gonna
I will
win.
say I give him
Li-
credit.
listen.
He did a pretty good job for that one though. He
Yeah,
didn't
he did.
just
Yeah, he did.
he wasn't just trying to
He-
sell you, even though he brought up the new game,
No,
The new game, yeah.
which to me, that ain't no $60 game. I never played it.
So
I don't
here's-
know. That ain't a $60
Whoa,
game.
yeah,
That's
I'm
bizarre.
calling it.
I knew you were gonna say that shit.
That's fine. I'm just saying, knowing how the Game Awards have treated Nintendo games prior, other than like fucking Zelda, I wouldn't have assumed that all of a sudden that they were going to all of a sudden announce, especially Bayonetta. Bayonetta.
When you look at the
I love-
competition, it was pretty easy. I thought for sure. I
Switch
called
is
it.
too popular.
they've been
Neon White
petty
could have taken
before.
that for sure.
It's too
Neon White
popular
could've
to
done that.
ignore.
Yeah, it won 4
You know what I'm
awards.
surprised? You know what I'm surprised? Fucking Splatoon 3 won over Call of Duty. That
I
fucked
like
me
that,
up.
bro.
That
That,
fucked-
that,
Hey,
that
that
should
fucked
have
was-
me up.
see that
I
should
would-
have been on the stage.
Yeah,
would've
that
been
was a
awesome.
non-stage. That was just a rattle
Was
it
that
off
wasn't a-
one.
you're right.
Multiplayer?
That's insane.
Multiplayer?
That is
That
insane.
would
was
have drew
huge.
people up the wall. Like people were like, "What?" But
Yeah,
two
no,
and three,
bro. A lot
It's
of people,
very
a lot of people on
surprising.
the,
I
on the
was-
Twitter, I loved seeing it because I was like, oh hell's yeah, that's
it was so much
Splatoon 3 won.
salt.
Yeah, that was a lot, bro. There was
Mario
a lot.
plus
What
Rabbids.
is this kid game? There's like, what is
Yeah,
this
Mario
kid
plus
game
Rabbids.
over Call
That was
of
best
Duty?
strategy. What was the best family game?
Kirby.
Kirby.
Kirby was
Which, by the way, that was Kirby's
Nintendo-
first like award.
Yeah.
Nintendo Award.
From-
Had
No,
nothing
well,
to do
so-
with family.
I'll say
It's-
though that Nintendo actually won a decent amount of.
That's what I'm saying.
Xenoblade
Yeah,
got
they did.
snubbed, but
Yeah, unfortunately, it hurt my soul. You could have gave it music.
And
You
then
should
Zelda
have gave
for
it
most
music,
anticipated game.
bruh.
God of War
And-
has a good title screen. Not title screen. You know when you hover over the
Main
game on the
menu.
PS5.
Oh,
That
okay,
music's
yeah, yeah.
good. The
Wait,
trailer
Xeno-
music was
Xeno
good.
got a nomination for game, right? Game of the year.
Yeah,
What's
that's my other big complaint.
That's pretty big.
Which
They
one?
didn't really. They had the orchestra and they
Yeah.
had the name of the game on screen, but if you blinked, you missed it. They didn't really
Yeah.
go out of their
Yeah.
way to say, "Hey, we want to acknowledge all our Game of the Year nominees, give them their own little shine." No, it was they blended all the music together with the same beat. It had the same
Yeah.
beat the whole time. I couldn't tell the difference between the Plague Tale, God of War, and Xenoblade. To be honest
Xenoblade.
with you, they all
I
sounded the
can tell.
same.
Yeah.
I can
And
tell.
Elden Ring, and Elden Ring,
And
and
Elden
honestly,
Ring.
all of them. Horizon, they all really went
Skywalker
together.
Saga, the other
And that was
family
great.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, I'll say also that by the way, I saw the
Say,
world
me and
premieres.
my
I
daughter
counted
were
up.
playing that together, so I guess that count.
I wouldn't have counted that.
It's family game.
So I think I liked a couple years ago when they did each a break, like every 20-30 minutes they did a Game of the Year. They played like an orchestra played something from the Game of the Year nominees. So this year they would have been, let's say they would start with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 would have got its own 2-3 minute game footage. Here's the orchestra, and then 20-30 minutes later here's Elden Ring. You know, I think that would have been the better way
No,
to go.
but I don't know about that because remember, every single other year was fine. Like 2017 with Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey and everything that it.
Well,
had.
one year they did the individuals. They kind of spaced it out,
Yeah,
so
they
you know,
did- they
hey,
did
this
do-
was
I
a Game of the
remember
Year
that, yeah.
nominee. This is a
What a
Game of the
year
Year.
that was.
But it still sounded different. They for some reason wanted
Yeah.
to make it like one cohesive song, which sure, but no, like nah, like that. The whole thing, like you could make it connect. That's why you find like similar things that can connect, but don't make it where you have like the same drum pattern and stuff that going on. So because then it sounds too similar for so many of them, and you're like, what's going on here, man? And that was a damn shame. I definitely recommend. I definitely agree with that. Where I was like, oh man, I really like these, but this year was like they tried something new that didn't really work.
And I I don't know if it was a delay in the audio video side, but flute guy was going off, but there was no flute going on a couple times when they showed him. And I'm like,
Oh, bro, I don't know about that, but
I was
he
like, man,
going
are
ham.
they
I
actually?
appreciate-
bro, he was doing it. He was
I
going
know, but-
insane.
Did he Milli Vanilli that shit?
I kind of feel like
Milli
I kind of
Vanilli,
feel like
bro.
they weren't actually playing. That's a theory I
That's what I
have.
was saying. Did he Milli Vanilli that shit?
Because
Oh
I
Girl,
my
don't-
you know
God.
which girl, you know which girl. Oh fuck.
they'd show him and he's playing. He had the regular flute, and then all of a sudden he had that weird thing, and then he had the regular flute again. I'm like,
Oh,
how the fuck did he?
no.
I guess you can switch out pretty easily. But
Oh, he just
anyway,
goes like this. He picks
Yeah.
it up. And he's how hype he was. He was like this.
it just felt like Xenoblade Chronicles
He was
3
in it. It was
didn't
awesome.
get. They didn't really stress why each game was nominated for Game of the Year, and I think that's something they could do better. Like, this is
Okay.
why Stray, Stray is nominated. This is, whatever things you want to talk about the game, play the music or have the music play. Just give them a little more shine, because there's only going to be one winner, and a lot of people probably don't even barely saw the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 name pop up, and it's like, that's kind of a big deal that was actually nominated. Even though the
Yeah.
awards don't mean that much, it still means, it was
Millions of people are
recognized.
still gonna see. Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles is finally getting some recognition.
I know you guys don't agree, but I thought that was a shoe-in for Game of the Year to me. Like, to me, it was, once I saw it, it did an 89 on Metacritic. People loved it. The audience loved it. It was a big Nintendo game. It was gonna get
It won't
Game of
even
the
be
Year
Terrell's
nomination.
game of the year, so
But
Wow,
it's gonna
shut
be
up,
on
bro.
his. But it's gonna be on his top 5, or
That's
6.
true.
it'll be
Relax.
4. It'll be 4.
So
Wow.
that's why.
I
Like,
hate that he's trying to predict my list like this. Shut
I
up.
know.
RCS, Scarlet
I'm pushing in
Violet,
the direction.
Frontiers. I'm calling it.
Well, I'll
Well,
say.
that's my top 3.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Okay.
by the way, for the actual world premieres, I counted them, and it was 22. Now, the reason why I think you think it's still more is because of the damn
Ads.
ads mixed in, and it makes it seem like everything.
Oh,
is
yeah.
But
literally more- it really does. I truly.
If you're
like, that's what to
talking
me, it's like it just felt like it was all one.
A
trailer.
2-minute trailer for each. I mean, I don't know. They're all 2 minutes. Some are longer than others, and Death Stranding
some are
got
definitely
more.
longer.
And it didn't say
Can
Death
we-
Stranding 2. It just said DS2. I wonder if that's a.
I hate that. I hate
I
that.
hate it at the do
It is
I
Death
hate
Stranding
the
too,
way
though.
he treats, dude.
They're making
The way-
a new DS.
They make it Death Stranded too, man.
I'll say right
Oh,
now
wow, I
that
thought you
that
meant
actress,
Oh,
I think she's
okay.
French. If you think she's attractive, I'd say just look her name up. She did a French film with one of the best scenes I've ever seen.
Yeah,
It wasn't act.
Oh,
It
yeah?
didn't even look like acting. Let's just
it was
say
French film.
that
Oh,
shit
yeah?
looked real. Her and another
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah,
But So-
Numi Rapace. Is that how you say your last name? Numi.
no, that's a different girl.
Rapace. I'm just saying she was
Not-
a very similar movie.
Oh yeah,
Do you want me to?
Well,
Do you
you're
want me
right.
to?
girl with the
Is that
dragon
real?
tattoo.
That shit looks real to me.
Yeah, there was nose in crevice. Let's just say.
Oh yeah.
Right. Right. It's
But,
like, y'all ain't acting no more. That's real shit.
So I
It
want to.
is over when your nose is in somebody's crack.
Mm-hmm. So I'm
Do you
gonna
want me
share
to,
my screen real quick.
Wait, do you want me to quickly just list off like
No.
no?
Nope.
Damn. All right. I could just name
So
them real
salty
quick.
Sony fan.
If any of them were interesting.
These are the 4 shots for his unbelievable that Elden Ring beat these 2 games for best art direction. So there's a pretty skybox.
I think people understand art direction.
Direction's not about graphics.
There's a pretty skybox.
For them, it's very much about the realism and shit, man.
There's a pretty skybox during a cinematic.
That's an empty as.
And then this shot, which actually looks really good in game. This is a really cool area I just got to. I give it
That's
this.
pretty
Like, I give this is some art direct. It's a really cool looking area. Color scheme, everything. Color palette.
For sure.
So this person said it's unbelievable. And I was like, I was one of the first people to see it. And I replied. I gotta find it. A lot of people were posting
just
Elden
passed
Ring.
upstairs,
Now
you
the
passed
one
it.
I'm
You
looking
passed-
for, I'm looking for one in particular.
Oh, I thought you passed it yourself.
Right here. And
Damn,
1994
Fucking hell.
likes. I've never
Is that the most? Is that the
Oh
most?
yeah, I've
you're-
never even had like barely over 100.
That's nuts.
So I just
crazy.
I picked a screenshot from my 170 Elden Elden Ring screenshots, and I said, that
Yeah.
sure looks like excellent art direction.
That's art
Yeah.
direction right there.
And this guy
It's not-
goes, excellent, yes, not nearly as good or original as any of the examples OP had. But yes, Dark Souls 4 did have some excellent art direction. And
Bruh.
this dude got, I hate to use this term, but
Original?
ratioed. This
He got
motherfucker
ratio.
got ratioed. Even though there's a lot of quote tweets and it got quite a few likes. It just goes to show, like, he didn't even pick the best photos of the games for one. Here's another one I posted, and there was actually pretty good interaction with most people. But there's some salty ass Dark Souls gatekeepers in there. They're really going crazy, and then some haters, and it was just interesting. But if you want to talk art,
Souls fans, that cut you half.
and somebody goes, I don't think you understand the difference between graphics and art direction. All you showed was 3 skyboxes, and one of them was a cinematic.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He don't understand what's fucking art direction is.
I mean, you just look at just the designs of the bosses and like the castles. Like if you like,
Yeah.
That's what intrigues me about it. I'm like looking at all the art, and I'm like, that's
it's amazing. Like this, I shared, somebody picked basically the same shot I picked. Like this, I mean, it's not even. It's art is subjective, like I said. They're all beautiful games, but if you're talking about like difference between something that looks like a CGI movie and something that looks like it'd be a painting you'd hang on your wall, it's like it's not even close.
The word art should not be used lightly, man. I'm just saying.
You use it pretty lightly.
I know, man.
Days Gone is art.
Well, I'll say that. I'll say that they also. I remember for best direction, to me, it really a lot of people were like, "Oh, I'm surprised about God of War," bro. Elden Ring had to win best direction. That was the shoe-in for the whole thing, best direction, because that's what people love about Elden Ring is the game design, how the fucking open world works and everything. Like that's the direction, the game direction.
Yeah, to
like,
take that formula into the open world.
That was literally what Elden Ring was all about, was that amazing game direction. You know what I mean? So it's like
God of War ones. God of War has some beautiful areas. Like this is probably another cinematic, I'm guessing.
To be fair, yeah, it looks like a.
But this was in the first game. It looks great. I mean, it
looks so similar.
If you compare this to like a Plague Tale, you know, it's like, yeah, this is art. This is way more artsy than fucking a Plague Tale, you know. But
it's more fantasy also.
The fantasy element. To me, like, I mean, there's just so many examples, and it's taste preference.
There's only so much a Plague Tale can do because it's set
in real world. So I just thought it was interesting, and I never had my phone. The notifications from Discord are from.
Oh yeah, 1,900.
Which one?
Keep going. There's like a little skeleton. I'm sure it's like some.
Oh, this. Oh yeah.
Sometimes I love the internet.
I know. So I don't know. It's just funny. Like, it's unbelievable. How did this win best art direction? It's like, dude, you didn't play it because it's like a giant glowing tree. That's like a world tree almost. That's just
at the end of the day, it's just fanboy bullshit. Like it's people hating on.
And honestly,
both sides.
I probably put Xenoblade Chronicles 3's art direction with, including the character models and stuff and the designs of like the machines, and I'd put it up there. I think that should have got nominated too, which I think
it didn't get nominated. Right?
It didn't.
You would think it would. Like if it's Game of the Year, like it's literally an art style.
It's funny. There's not one person.
It has its own look.
Replying with Horizon photos. As much as I love Horizon, it was just God of War versus Elden Ring, basically what it came down to.
It's funny because Horizon.
What else?
I think Horizon's art direction is better than God of War, if I'm being honest.
Somebody even call it Horizon Forgotten West.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. But no, like, it's funny because it took me a while to get into Forbidden West, Zero Dawn, and I totally stayed with it because I was enjoying the story. And because it's funny because some people were talking about that was a weak part of it. I thought it was pretty good. But Forbidden West, I don't know. It's just something. It's not holding me
Really? Have you gotten past
yeah.
like the closed small area that the opening 10
Yeah,
hours?
I'm out in the yeah.
You made
And
it to the coast yet?
I'm kind of bored. Not yet, no.
That's funny because
Really?
somebody else was saying that on Sandstorms. I'm like, dude, I think I love this way more than the original. I was just like completely sucked in by.
I mean, that structured opening area didn't help. You know, like it.
Yeah, pulls a Days Gone. I will say the
Yeah.
opening 4 or
Oh
5
God, Days
hours
Gone.
is just a
That
small
Days Gone.
locked area. You can't explore the full open world until a
Yeah.
certain cinematic happens. And then
Also, I'm surprised that
Days Gone. Did you say?
apparently people were really like there were definitely questionable winners in these things.
Oh, there
Like
always is.
I feel like God of War coming out so close to the nominees helped it because I don't think it. Christopher Judge is great. His facial stuff's I think better than his voice work because it's motion capture. There's some definitely you can just tell on Kratos' face like what he's thinking. He does a good job. I don't know that he should have won, but we wouldn't have had such a awesome acceptance speech if somebody else won.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't
Also,
have tried to kill myself.
I am glad. Also, another one that kind of triggered a few people. Not as many because you don't see as many people, but like a lot of the hardcore Total War and Victoria people that win Mario and plus Rabbids won Best Strategy / Sim, which is great. I was very happy to see that when I was like, nice, cool. I won Best Strategy, not just Best Family Game, Best fucking Strategy Game, motherfucker. And it's like I was like, cool. And there's a lot of people like that. I saw some people, not a lot, but you saw a decent amount. They're like, what? You tell me the first of all, the Total War, and just the way they say, you're like, this is for people with high IQ type shit. And like, whoa, okay.
Damn.
Oh, I see retro. You got to the top of the finger in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It took me forever to figure out I could climb that fucking textured wall.
I didn't know if I had to. I didn't even have to go there. I saw the thing and I was like, damn, that goes pretty high. I was just looking around, looking at the clouds, what I do, and I see, wait, that looks like a ladder. And I went up there. I was climbing that bitch for like fucking 15
Well,
minutes.
before
That
the
was
ladder,
so
there's
high.
just like textured pattern in the fucking.
Yeah.
I bet like 20 hours in the game. Like, man, I can't wait till I get up there. Couldn't find a way. Like I've revisited that area about every 10 hours, and finally, about 100 hours in, I figured out you could climb that. And
Yeah, it had like the little symbol, the climbing symbol and everything. And I went up there for half an hour, went all the way to the finger. I'm like looking around and I'm like jumping down. And I was like, man, that was just all kind of for nothing. But that was pretty cool, the fact that you could do it and shit.
What the hell is that skyline map anyway? It doesn't look familiar to me. And was that from a Call of Duty game? Or is that from Halo? Like an old Halo map?
What are you talking about?
Didn't you me? Yeah, you said there was like a map recreated.
High Rise.
High Rise. Because this says Skyline. I guess I confused the two.
Oh, no, High Rise and
another former Game of the Year game right here.
I can't tell what it is.
Why you even? I forgot. Why do you have that in?
What is it?
Little Town Hero.
I completely forgot about that.
Never heard of it.
It's my Game
Freak.
Oh,
Town. No, I don't know. That's the Game Freak one. That's what it's called.
Yeah, that was Little Town Hero.
Fuck, I didn't know
Game
that.
Freak.
I didn't know that
also,
was the name.
Why do you have that?
Also,
by the way,
and give it to what?
Give it to me.
Also, by the way, I don't know why they do all these esports fucking thing, and then they do all 5 of them right away from. They didn't even start. This was during the pre.
Because no one gives a shit.
All the esports. Well, then why have 5 esports categories?
Because we gotta be inclusive, man.
And the show lasted 3 hours.
Coach, player, tournament, game.
Don't nobody know who those people are.
What?
It's like content creator. Like, get out of here. Come on.
Donkey doesn't get nominated. Donkey
wasn't on the list.
That's why you love it if Retro Death is on content creator.
Retro Death wasn't on the list. That's why he was mad.
Should we talk about the former Ben Studios guy who's trying to blame?
Man, that dude.
What did he say? Was he blaming woke people or people anti-woke people for?
There's still more Game Awards.
You bought it on Steam. Is that Horizon?
Oh,
man.
Or God of
Oh,
War.
Days Gone.
Oh, it's
Hey,
Days
man.
Gone? Nice.
You know what also drove me crazy though is that they go from these are the things that they started off with, and I was like, dude, when are we gonna get into the first like game category? It was literally best performance, best adaptation, best narrative, and then they went into like best debut indie game. It was like, bro, it was 3 like story stuff.
I know, but I thought that was
I was
cool.
like,
They
dude.
started. It really started with an award that like.
No, but it was all no. But I'm saying the first 3 that were all like presented on stage were all story-driven shit. I'm like, dude, can we talk about some game? The second one was about a movie or a shows.
Yeah, that's
movie or
true.
shows. I'm
Best
like, come on.
adaptation. That was on
That's-
stage.
That was on stage.
Yeah, you're
That
right.
was on. That
I'm
was
like,
on. stage.
bro.
Uncharted got hold, man. It should have won that.
No.
No, how dare you? How fucking dare you? The fuck are you talking about?
I actually did like the movie, but I don't think it.
That ain't the fucking point.
Of course you did.
I still at least think. I still
What
think at least.
about what about
I've only.
Arcane?
I've only
It's on
seen the
Netflix.
other
I
one-
still won't watch it.
Again.
Motorcycle.
Oh my
But
god.
and then also apparently, and I don't actually know this because I haven't played it. Oh no, well this one, well it was 2 things because Xbox did get a win. I forgot about that, and that was for Games for Impact with the As Dust Falls. That
Shut the
apparently
fuck up.
they won that one, which apparently people were saying that shit they don't deserve it. I don't know if that's true.
That's
I haven't played it.
hilarious.
I'm
Like,
like,
Scrolls is good, but Impact.
it is, but they were saying
Nobody
like
remembers that fucking game.
they were saying there's a lot of other ones that people were that.
You know when I saw that
that
trailer, world premiere for that
Is that why Phil was sitting there for
Destiny
As Dust
2?
Falls?
There's some Destiny 2 DLC or something they did a world
Is
premiere
there?
for. I wasn't like, oh, that new Sony game. But it's funny how as soon as Microsoft bought some studios now, it's immediately an Xbox game. Like, I just don't... Or, that's a Microsoft game.
I hear what you're saying.
It's a Bethesda game. Come on. Like, that's a fucking Bungie game. Like, I don't even think...
Point,
oh, that's a Sony game.
But I mean, do we really say like?
Is that
we
fair?
We don't say
They did
with
buy them.
Smash. With Smash, we're not like that's that Bandai Namco game. You know? What I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but I'm
we're
not just because you bought a company and they released a game that they're already working on. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a Sony game. Like maybe if Bungie makes like a game for Sony,
Yeah.
but that's just Bungie's game. Like I don't know. That's just how I look at it.
How long will it be before it's a Microsoft game? How many years does it take?
It takes 1.5.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be maybe.
It takes 1.5. Is this you
Yeah.
playing the game?
No.
Pokemon's a Nintendo game, right?
Also, Moss Book 2 won Best VR game.
Best VR.
Yeah. Which
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
of course it did. I mean, it's Moss.
I know.
And that's actually the first game, I guess, games getting ported to PSVR 2.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so.
Oh yeah.
I'm not rebuying this shit.
I like that response. Oh my
T, you
god.
better be picking up Returnal on that Steam Deck.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh
say.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
I was gonna ask Juice, would you possibly buy a Returnal if it was a low enough price on PC?
No, because
Oh,
my
why?
It's gonna be
PS5 is way more powerful than my PC.
And Last of Us Part 1 is also coming to PC.
Yeah.
You know that, T?
If I
Last of
upgrade
Us
my
Part
like
1.
CPU and
Isn't that the
GPU
remake?
someday,
Or
maybe.
is it
Yeah, the actual remake.
Gotcha.
I'm really curious to see what settings they'll have for
that
Returnal.
on
If like
scale.
somebody with a 4090, what can they push Returnal visually? Because I think it looks great already, but I'd love to see it like
Yeah.
native 4K, like with like maxed out
Well,
settings.
all I'll say, they're getting closer and closer, man. Look, they stopped releasing physical games and they only start releasing on PC. I ain't buying another PlayStation. Man, I said that with Xbox. I'll say it with PlayStation.
That's a fair point.
They
So,
start
Horizon,
doing
it's
eventually.
been happening a lot
Let's say,
lately.
you know, I'm hoping to live a very long life, right? So then when they eventually
Why you do that?
once
Don't
they
say it like
once they
that.
once they stop doing those and start eventually one day they're gonna end up doing day and date shit in our lifetime, and it's only digital. I'm not picking up a PlayStation. So hey man, you gotta some stuff on.
So what's the
Because-
reason?
Because of the PC releases, like
the
why-
PC?
why?
That's why it's like just like with Xbox, where it's just like, look, if
But
there's no
this
more
won't
physical
happen.
copies, there's no point of you getting a
But
PlayStation.
people are saying that won't happen if you do day and
But
date.
I don't get
But it's
it. I don't
becoming-
get
it's
the
becoming
difference.
more
If
and
they're
more
both
for me. It's gonna happen for me.
if they're both digital though, why does
It's
it all of
gonna
a sudden
happen-
you're going to choose the PC
It's
version?
gonna happen for me.
of the day, I'm gonna be on PC. That means I wouldn't have to buy
You can spend all
two
this money on
consoles. I would have to buy
PC.
two consoles. I could just
Oh, you're
spend it
saying
all on
like
PC.
instead of buying the PS6.
Yes, PS7, whatever it'll be. I know there's gonna be a timer one day.
It'll be PS6.
You think it'll be PS6?
I think so.
No physical copies? Because remember, it's more than about the physical. At this point, it's like
It feels like it's happening now.
Because I was like,
I mean, there's gonna be physical copies. It's gonna be
physical media. It's too many.
like you
sales.
pointed out, you can
As
still
long-
buy CDs. Like I thought
What's
CDs were gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can still buy CDs. It's
But
gonna be like that.
if-
It's gonna be where it's like, oh
Gotcha.
yeah, it's still a thing. But
Hey man, as long as you got
shits.
some form of physical copy that I could buy, I'll still buy your console because I do at least to get that. Unless you start releasing, even if, you know me, if it's even just box for PC, I'm gonna all right, fuck it. I was gonna get the box for PC.
The game's actually in there. You just want a box.
I just want a box. You start releasing boxes on PC, man.
Oh my
you got
god.
me. You got me. And that's the thing is that I've always said the same thing. Even with X, like again, the reason I got the Series X, fine, they still got the physical copies, but it's mainly because of the backwards compatibility. But if once PS whatever, they're like, oh, by the way, we're just doing everything day and date. This is digital and console. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm saving $600.
Speaking of backwards compatibility, apparently there's no backwards compatibility when it comes to the DLC for Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah,
That's kind of fucked.
That's
I think it's fucked. You think it's fucked up? I think it's.
I mean, listen, but here's my thing though, Robert.
But
My
it's-
point is this though. If you give me the option to buy the game on PS4, PS5, and I enjoyed it on PS4, and I want to get the
bought it on
DLC,
PS4.
I now have to then buy a whole new fucking console just to get access
Because they're
to
taking
buy
advantage, man. They're taking
I'm
advantage
not-
of the hardware.
I'm saying though, if you're gonna commit the main game to a cross generation, the DLC should not be specifically locked to one generation.
How
I
you
feel like-
feel-
You don't have to pay the $10 upgrade though, so you save some money. So now
Oh,
it's
what the fucking do
now
with
it's only $490.
You save
I
your
mean,
money after
It
you
just
buy
it feels like a
PS5.
punt. I just listen. All right, here's my thing, Robert. If the original game wasn't the same way, I wouldn't care. But the fact that it's like this is my problem.
as a
Like,
PS5 owner, I can tell you, fucking good. Good.
Well, I know you're excited.
Good.
Honestly, look, I think just like
Everybody
with,
else.
bro, let these stop with the PS4 and the Xbox One. Fuck
Sell
them
a-
all.
Don't sell a PS4 fucking version then.
That's the
Hey,
point I made.
hey,
Exactly.
that's okay.
Exactly.
PS4 game.
Don't make it
But
a don't make it
what
a
I'm
PS4
saying, though-
game.
What
But
I'm, what I'm saying though is apparently apparently, I don't, I'm not a developer, but from them they're saying that they're taking advantage of the actual PS5
That's
for this
bullshit.
DLC.
There's
They're
not
taking
such
advantage
a
of
massive
who bought the
difference.
fucking game on PS4. They also
Yeah.
take advantage of them too.
or if they were
There's not
True.
such a massive difference.
Yeah,
between
no, you're not.
PS4
You're right.
and
You're right.
Or
to be
or
fair,
here's
you're
my
right,
thing.
You're right. You're right. No, you're not wrong, man. You're not wrong.
But
You're not
here's my
wrong.
other thing. If you had, if they had told the fans
Yeah,
before
yes,
buying the game,
Say, hey guys, DLC's coming for this game, but we're not gonna be able to put the DLC for the PS4 version.
yeah, they had just said that. I think that would have been better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but-
wait, but to be fair though, at what point do they say that? Because they
You
did
said
say
it
it.
before
You
They
gotta
did
draw
say
the
it.
line at
releases.
some point.
He said that day one.
At day
Yeah.
one, no, but day one, there's gonna be people saying like, "Oh, why are you talking about day one DLC?" You know what I mean? At least,
But that's why
Yes,
they
yes,
already talk about day one DLC. So
They already do that now anyway.
That shit is over. That fight is over.
Yeah.
I hate it that they do that, but
we've
that
lost
point. We
it.
do
We've
that.
lost
You know,
it.
we
because
We've
we
lost
already
it.
know, Terrell's gonna buy the Fire Emblem
I was
day
gonna
one.
say,
You got the
Shut
day
your
one
ass
DLC.
up. Hey, Robert, chill out, bro.
The Fire Emblem engage. He's gonna engage in that emblem of DLC.
Relax, man. Relax.
But what I will say is that I don't know. I don't.
I don't
The
think it's
FTC
right. That's all I'm saying.
I
feel like-
also.
Activision Blizzard
If
deal.
you, that's like saying you bought. I'm trying to think of a good example. That's like saying you bought Minecraft on Xbox and they released on Xbox Xbox One and then they also released on Xbox Series X. But they said, well, certain DLC you can only get on Xbox Series X.
They
Fine.
already did
I have
that.
no
already
problem
lied
with
to
that.
you, I think.
Absolutely
They
no
already
problem.
do that.
You have a
Terrell.
Series X. We're gonna make something for you. In that example, I think that's a bad example because it's like
Ray
this
tracing,
DLC is
everything.
only for the Series X. Okay, you
The
bought
super
the
duper
but
graphics is
if
only
there
for Xbox. Series
in your
X and
scenario, there's
PS4.
probably still
This
DLC
is
for the
different.
PS4.
Kind of. What, Terrell? There's a game called Pokken Tournament. that came out on the Wii U and the Switch.
A year later.
Right.
And the Wii U version didn't get the DLC, did it? It didn't get that DLC.
So,
No,
so
I
how do
didn't.
you? What about
But-
also like how would you consider something like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Like why can't
I
they
wouldn't.
just
Those
put
are
I
that
different.
wouldn't.
No.
I would say that's different because they weren't released at the same time.
times?
But here's my question,
They
Terrell.
were. They were.
Is it same or
because of-
similar times, or does it
because
have to be same?
Here's my thing: if you were a Switch owner, and you didn't, that you still had to wait to play that game versus like a Wii U owner who got to play it as soon as it came out in 2014 or when it originally came out. So the Switch owner is like, okay, I got to play it later. They're also spending the $60 that some of those games weren't
But
the
they
same
might.
price.
You don't think any of them are gonna say, "Man, this is the same game but ported, but I wanted the fucking battle mode from that. How you gonna tell me I gotta pay $300 for a console to
All
pay?"
5 of those people are gonna complain.
Come on, it was
No,
8
no,
million. It was 8
No, I
million.
think,
But I'm
It's
saying though,
million.
to me though, if you Breath of the Wild would be a better example. If Breath of the Wild was like, oh, you can't get
Which
the
they
DLC.
released the DLC on Wii U. They did.
That's what I'm
Pocket-
saying. That's what I'm
Pocket
saying.
is a terrible
If you did- if
situation
you-
because the original
ahead.
Pocket was released on the Wii U. It wasn't released at the same time. The arcade game got extra shit, and
That's
they
right.
ported the new game with the extra content. That's what it is. It's not like they released 2 games.
Yeah,
and
but
like,
you have to
we're gonna make-
rebuy the game for another $60 to play that. You know,
If
like
you want the DLC.
if you
there
wanted
was
that
that-
extra content. So here's the thing:
Go ahead.
until we see what it actually is, there might be something very obvious, like, hey, this just seriously, this we wouldn't have been able to do this.
Better be. It better be super
So
obvious.
I'm not gonna
Like,
get mad at it because, like I said, we don't know, and it might be a
you
situation
can't
where
get mad at. You don't care. You got a PS5. You just
Yeah,
you
but
just said you
like
don't
they
give a
could
shit.
say,
Good.
you could say, oh, they could do that, but if they're like, yeah, we couldn't get it to run above 20 FPS on the PS4, like we just whatever it is, it's just a hypothetical. That to me, that's a big factor. Like you could say, well, they should have designed DLC, but at the same time, that's Sony knows how many people bought the PS4 version and how many people have the PS5 version. They know that they're gonna be missing out on money, so they're not just doing it because they think it's going to make them more money. It's going to be making them less money. So there has to be a reason they'd be doing it. It's, and they, who knows, maybe they'll change their mind.
No, Sony is very reputable when it comes to their business practices.
I know, but they're not going to, it's going to hurt their,
They're
it's going to
looting
hurt
the
the
people
amount
that
of
keep
money
going
they're
to
going to
the
make. So
cross-chain,
you
though.
think they're just going to
Jesus
do that?
Christ.
Forcing people to buy that PS5. I think that's all there is to it.
You
Yeah,
think
or
somebody's
just,
going to be forced to buy it for some
Especially now, because the only
DLC?
version of the PS5 you can get is the bundle.
DLC for a game you think is going to force somebody to buy a
I think
PS5?
they're forcing people to buy a
Like-
PS5.
There's nothing in this planet that the DLC could have that they could not make run on the PS4. I'm sorry, there's
You
nothing
can't say
in
that,
it.
man. You
I
don't know.
won't go that far.
Yeah,
I won't
I
go
will.
that
You
far.
can downgrade game.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
dude,
not
if they really
saying,
wanted
though.
to, they could
You can
downgrade to
downgrade anything
720p.
enough.
No.
Anything that can run.
It's on the
If
Switch.
you can
son.
make a PS4 game run, for example, on the Switch or whatever, you can. No, I don't care what it is. There's nothing you can downgrade enough on the PS5 to make it run on the PS4.
But again-
I
Isolation,
get that.
alien isolation look better on the Switch than it does on the PS4, son.
But again,
Oh
this is
my
Sony's.
Lord.
They're actually going to be making less money because I don't know what the sales are, but I guarantee the PS4 version sold pretty well. So they're making a choice to make less money on this DLC by limiting it. So
I think people just don't want to bother.
Well, also, I'm
Just
sure,
upgrade. They're making
You
that
need to-
calculation too.
and also, I'm sure it just costs more money to also develop for PS4.
Yeah, I would have said that.
They're like, man, fuck it, it's DLC.
Yeah, I think
we
they
do the
just don't
math.
want
They
to
rather
bother.
take the
I
L
think,
on
you know,
on
think
the
about-
users
think about it.
than on
Think
the
about
development
think about
costs.
this. Think about this. How many the development costs, right, for doing 2 platforms, and then they probably think, all right, well, let's do the math. This amount of people will usually buy DLC, so let's say it's about maybe 25%. It's definitely not going to be even that. But it's just like, let's say that amount buy DLC, and this how many for PS5, PS4. If PS4 is already dwindling, there may be only going to be 10% that's going to buy in it. There's no, I just don't even bother. Let's
And
just
you
put
think
it.
Sony give a fuck? They're charging people for upgrading games. They'll get the
That's what I'm saying, is that they're trying to save the money by not putting it on PS4.
and Horizon's a free upgrade, but so it's like
Yeah, it's
That's
one of
one-
the free upgrades.
that's just how I look at it. Like they wouldn't just be doing this. I don't think DLC is gonna be the difference maker for getting somebody to buy a PS5 maybe sooner than they would have normally. I don't know, but I don't think, to me, DLC isn't like a system seller.
The difference maker for getting me to buy a PS5 sooner was that PSVR shit. Talking about I can't play my games, I can't. That's the shit that killed me.
Yeah,
like, nope.
that was, who knows what the reason. That's just stupid.
Like, but don't worry, we're porting Moss and Moss 2. You bastards.
So either way, like, I guess if it was Breath of the Wild and the Switch 2 comes out and it's backwards compatible and then they put out some really awesome DLC, I'll be like, yeah, I guess I can't play that till I get the new Switch. But at the same time, I'm probably going to buy the new Switch anyway. So it's like, I don't know.
Well, what about, I don't know. Do you agree with this? What about this? What about the Final Fantasy? How about this? How the Final Fantasy VII Integrate made it where the DLC for whatever
it was only on PS5.
It was only on PS5. And they could have put that on PS4. Let's be for real. So like how you feel about that? Is that also the same thing?
Well, that was them trying to trying to get people to rebuy the game, or I guess you could upgrade too if you actually bought it.
It was still fucked. I don't want to.
You had to upgrade for like $30 or some shit. I forget what it was.
No, you could. It was a free upgrade for the visuals, but then you had to pay for the DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What game?
The
Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate.
Yeah, but if you had the PS4 version and a PS4, you couldn't play as whoever that popular character is. I forget her name.
Right.
So, yeah, I forgot her name too, man. What's her name?
And I mean, I don't remember too many people getting mad about that.
Oh, for Yuffie.
Yuffie. Okay, Yuffie. Yeah, that's what Retro's saying.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a similar situation, like you could upgrade the game, but if you wanted to play that, you had to have the PS5 to get for that DLC. So it is what it is. I don't know if I'd feel differently if I only had the PS4, but at the same time, I'm not like rushing out to buy DLC in general, so I'm probably the wrong person to.
Yeah, it has to be a DLC that grabs me the way like
because even
Wilds grabbed me.
I was gonna get the Resident Evil 4 or Resident Evil Village DLC, and then I found it was like a couple hour whatever experience. I was like, yeah, I ain't paying.
Yeah, it's pretty short.
I'm mildly interested because I liked Frozen Wilds so much.
And I didn't buy that. I waited till it was free. When they gave it away.
Yeah, the game of the game of the year, but
complete edition.
The complete edition. That's the version I have.
That's the version I have the disc regular version and I have the complete edition digital forever. I mean, as long as I have a PlayStation account.
As long as you have a PS Plus.
No, that one was just given away.
I got it.
That was free. As long as you downloaded it, you have it.
Was that one of the stay-at-home things?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Damn, that was good.
That's where I got Moss.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Moss and what's that fucking game where you're a bug and it's like music based?
You're not talking about
fucking fantastic in VR. No. It's it's music based and it's like it's a VR game, but it's also
Thumper or not Thumper?
Thumper. You're on the right track.
Yeah, something like that.
Thumper, isn't it?
I don't think so.
I don't think it's Thumper. Thumper is that fucking rap.
Hold on a second. I have it on Switch.
Is it Thumper?
It might be Thumper.
Yeah, Thumper.
You said the butt game.
I didn't think.
Yeah, the butt. It's like it's like a.
Thumper is like a sphere.
It's like a rhythm game.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
You're like a beetle on this track.
You're a beetle,
that's Thumper.
It's like a very metallic beetle. So I
don't
didn't
think
think
I
it
ever
was
saw it as a beetle, man. I thought it was just a sphere, and I played
apparently it's a beetle. It doesn't tell you. It's not like in the game. It said it not in the game. It doesn't say, "Hey, you're a beetle."
It's a beetle.
It looks like a fucking beetle.
I didn't think of it as a beetle because there's nothing else about it. It just looks like it could be anything.
Pull up a picture of it.
It's just a silver ass thing.
Pull up a fucking picture.
Maybe to be fair though, T, you have the headset, so it probably looks even more detailed than your.
T, did you see that new trailer for the Horizon VR? That looked pretty cool.
That did look good. Yes.
I can't believe I got to buy a VR headset to play that game. God damn it! How dare they?
How about
I mean, it's probably a pretty bare bones game if it wasn't in VR.
Yeah.
So
it still looks cool.
How about did you see T Star Wars Jedi Survivor?
It did. I'm torn.
Why does he look different?
bored. I was
Yeah.
gonna say this looks really
It
good.
looks like
It
Clone
does
Wars
look
or
good.
some
It
shit,
does
though.
look good.
I thought I don't
He's
really.
got a little beard. He's got like
I'm
my
not-
beard.
They changed his face to look like the actor.
I'm talking about the visuals of the entire game have been revamped. They
Yeah, I
look like
didn't-
Clone Wars or something.
Yeah, I didn't really
know.
care for the art style in
It
the
looks like
new
a
one.
Really?
mission or something. Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
Bro, I saw him jump off and glide for a second. I was like, let's go!
think
Good
they-
glide.
I think they went that route because there was technical issues with the realistic look of their first one.
I thought it looked pretty
I
realistic.
thought
Maybe
it was
I'm wrong.
weird. I don't know. I just looked.
It looked off to me.
It,
And
it's
it's
Damn,
coming out soon too, so
it is coming out soon. Unless it gets delayed, but
that worries me.
I still
I
got.
was like, damn, it looks pretty.
I gotta get
fucking
back
good.
into
I have
Fallen
to watch
Order.
it again, but
And then,
Did you finish Fallen Order?
No, I got to
the game's fantastic.
the
Bro.
second
good.
location.
It's one of the best games of 2019.
I didn't
I
love
don't
those
know.
convoluted as Metroid Prime maps.
You
though.
said it's not.
That shit was confusing.
It was on my top
It's
10.
not like
It was on my top 10.
if I hadn't played a Souls game, I might like it more, but it doesn't. It feels, I wouldn't
Man,
say
come on,
janky.
yo.
It just doesn't feel as polished with the dodging and stuff. It just
Man.
You ain't played it enough. Once you start like
Eat
really in,
a
and you
dick.
start fucking using the colors,
This is why you also can't enjoy all these indie platforms, man. It doesn't feel as polished as Mario, so
no.
it's not as
It
good.
just they're emulating, direct copying
That was good,
Souls
Robert.
games.
That was good.
Like they literally just took the Souls formula and ripped it
Yeah,
out.
and it's fucking fun.
And
So
it's
who
not
cares
at-
if
it's not-
100% polished.
They didn't nail it.
I love Fallen
Oh,
Order,
shit.
so that says a lot.
They didn't nail it, in my opinion. It just doesn't.
Well, a lot of people like that game a lot. It is
So a
a
lot
pretty
of
highly rated
disagree.
game.
You're in the minority.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I just said it's just not quite right.
What is happening?
Just-
Jesus.
It feels more like the B Souls team. So let's make
I
a
think
Jedi game.
Man,
I think it's a
come on,
you,
yo.
it's a you problem.
Come on, yo.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'll just say
It's a fun
I plan on
game,
finishing
man.
it.
I didn't
it's
expect
it's
this
got a
development,
really good
really.
it's a really good
expect these
Star
to
Wars
develop.
atmosphere though. The Star Wars
It has an
atmosphere is
amazing
amazing.
Star Wars atmosphere.
But that don't
Like, if you're as a Star Wars fan, it's a good ass Star Wars game.
I say,
Robert,
fuck this-
Robert's
it's-
having known of your shit today. What's going on?
But other than like my only problem with that game is the map is confusing as shit.
Yeah,
you have to
it's-
figure it out. It takes a while to kind of figure out the layers and the levels, but that's my only problem with the game. The controls are a little off, but I had so much fucking fun with that game, man. And goddamn, the boss battles were fucking awesome, especially that last one. That shit, I must have died like 45 times. I must have died, but I kept coming back, and that I think is a testament to the
well,
game.
it probably didn't help that I played what I said. I said if it was comparing to the GameCube library, I said this game is only second only to Metroid Prime as far as just like ranking games, and
How
it was
about
Bloodborne. I fucking
Yeah.
love Bloodborne, and I wish
I
I
get
had
it,
more
but-
time to replay it without all the new games.
Bloodborne.
Don't get it. I get it. But to me, it's like, you know.
It's like somebody trying to make a
not
platformer, and it's
see,
just
here we
not. It's just doesn't play as good as Mario. I mean, it still can be a
go.
good
That's
game.
what I just said. I was
I know.
teasing you on that. Now you're just saying it for real.
But it's
What do you
true. It's different than
But
Sonic
you
trying to do
most
something
people-
completely
again,
different.
You talk about the top developer in the world. Most people are not going to be the top developer in the world.
If you
That's
moved in Bloodborne, you had the controls of your character in Bloodborne the way you do in. I would like Bloodborne if you can actually move the way you move in.
See, I
Fallen Order
prefer
and
this.
Bloodborne.
I
You got
prefer the
Bloodborne on
movement.
would like
GameCube,
it.
man. Did you play this shit?
I prefer the movement in
What's that? I can't
Souls
see.
games.
Knights of the Temple. Oh,
I don't like having to double tap
Oh,
to dodge
nice.
roll. That's what's really hurting Jedi Fallen Order for me.
You're the double tap.
You press it once, he does kind of a half-ass
man.
dodge. You press it twice, he dodge rolls.
You gotta pull yourself out
It's-
of the way you like to play this type
Well,
of game and just play.
That's the problem.
what
Is that
supposed to be
it's
played.
like you know, if if you expand your horizons, you see there's a lot
Yeah,
of
expand your
developers doing all types of
Robert's on
genres.
the ball
They're always
today.
gonna be top tier. That's just how it is.
Yeah, but you guys are talking about it like it's top tier, and I'm saying it
I'm
isn't
saying
top tier.
I just said it's top 10 of that year.
You
It's
said it was. I thought you said it was the best.
Finish it first. You gotta complete it, else you can't know.
I thought you said it was the best game in 2019.
No, I said one.
Oh, I thought you were
my
saying it
top
was
10
the
list.
best.
No.
You must have said
Luigi's
one of the
Mansion
best.
3, bro. Luigi's Mansion 3 is the best game of that year for me.
It's one of the best. What is the Metacritic for?
Uh,
It's gonna be pretty high.
I'm gonna guess it's high 80s.
I think it was like 84.
76.
No, it's not 76.
76.
It's like a
And
83 or 84.
maybe if I still like really was into Star Wars, that would probably help too. Like it was refreshing to like be in that era, but I just don't care about Star Wars anymore.
Stuff is cool, but I'm just talking about the game and the gameplay itself.
You're talking about as a game, essentially.
On average, it is about 80.
Okay.
80,
Why are you
81.
saying on average is about 80? That's not
Because
lower,
if you
man.
combine it, because okay, so PS4 is 79.
There you go.
And no, because there's 3 platforms and the other ones are 81. So that's why it's like go in between 80, I guess.
I mean, it's a good
Right?
game.
I
I'm not
guess,
saying it's a
yeah.
bad game. I just said it's not up. It
This is
just
not
doesn't
what I
play as good
expected
as I
from it.
wanted it to. Anyway,
I
we-
did not
I get it.
expect this.
We gotta get out of
game,
here.
Robert.
But again, you know,
Robert.
as an 80 is
Fucking game from day
I didn't
one.
expect Robert to be on this demon.
Yeah, but
It's
we were just talking
Jedi-
earlier about 82 shouldn't have been nominated for Game of the Year.
no.
It's like Uncharted Jedi.
Yeah,
It's
but-
like
Yeah,
this-
exactly, Robert. That's why 79, man. That's not
No,
good
but what I'm
material.
just, I'm not the one running the fucking awards. In the end of the day, yeah, if it was on the Game of the Year nominee list, like in general
Oh
for
my goodness.
them worldwide, yeah, it doesn't. If there was no other games, 2019 had Astral Chain, it had Luigi Mansion 3,
Sekiro.
it had Sekiro, it
Are you
had.
sure if there were no good games, it would have been okay to nominate it?
Wow.
Because
Oh
it's another
my
good game. Yes, I guess what you're saying. Yeah, sure.
I
But
see
what
what-
I'm
What else was
saying- what I'm
2019?
saying is that at the end of the day, is that
When was
it's
Red
a
Dead?
great it earned a great score at 80, but there's obviously ones that are higher. So I don't think it should have been, which it didn't. I don't think it did. I don't remember. For 2019, it should have been. But also, as we can see with every Game of the Year awards, fucking Death Stranding at 83 or whatever did 2019 also. It was like, come on.
Fucking
We,
Death
and
Stranding,
we all
man.
said that the same thing with 2019. It was like, how are you not gonna put Luigi Mansion 3 at like 88? It was like, how are you not gonna put that? It doesn't even make sense. But
Oh yeah, that
And
was
it-
disrespectful.
I usually don't try not to reply to ridiculous comments. So now Fallen Order is just Sony's template. That's not even close. That's Soulsborne template. Sony doesn't own they
Who said
he's,
this?
I guess he's talking.
said
He's
that?
talking about.
I
He's
understand
talking
what you're
about
saying.
it's a
the
flawed
cutscenes.
use of the Sony template. No, it isn't.
When I first, it's funny because when I first saw, I even made a video. I was making fun of, I think it was EA's EA Play for the summer when they first showed that game. I think it was the first time they showed it.
The
And,
intro is very Uncharted-esque. The
Yeah,
intro.
I watched. I was like, oh, this is look like Uncharted, fucking with Jedi. And
Well, I
shit,
think
man.
they do have the crumbly where you're like,
Yeah, remember the intro is not
Yeah.
any like
But that's not-
exploration type thing. It is
No.
very much a linear.
I guess if that's all you
Uncharted.
know of the game airs, then yeah.
I get that sentiment because that's
But
how.
after
that's what I
that-
thought when I first saw it.
Yeah, after
It's-
the first 20 minutes, it's not. I don't
It's
know what-
direct. It's literally the Souls formula where you
Yeah,
rest,
it's
you
that
rest, the
formula, yeah.
enemies come back to life, you can level up.
Fucking boss battles were
Like-
fucking amazing. That was some of the best fun I've had fighting bosses in a game in a long fucking time. Like, I really enjoyed the boss battles.
I mean, with that, the way the map was, it reminded me of the Metroid Prime-esque, but,
A little
maybe
bit.
that's a big thing, the
Yeah,
map-wise.
that's what I was saying. The Metroid Prime,
And you gotta get new abilities.
You know what I
that
mean?
map,
I was
All you need to do is do is say like Immortals, and he'll pick it up for you.
that map was a boss battle too. I was fighting that bitch all game.
See, look, that's another. See, look, Immortals was very
Game.
78.
Breath of the Wild esque, but
the
it
whole
wasn't
game.
as well made as Breath of the Wild.
Well, I said if
It
you
wasn't-
remember, I said it didn't have the world didn't feel alive like Breath of the Wild. It didn't obviously
No.
without the physics and
No, of course. I mean, yeah.
You didn't look over and say, "Oh, I want to go over there. What's that?"
But it's just like
It did
you
for
know.
me.
But that's why like
I
you
get
know
that. I'm not
with
getting that, I should say.
every game in the world, like you know, you have the Breath of the Wilds, the Odysseys, right? The ones that the best platform of all time, boom. The best action adventure of all time, boom. And then there's gonna be a lot of other platforms that come out that you know most of the time I know you're gonna skip, but there's plenty of them that are really good, but they're not as tightly made or as good as made as Mario because of course
You
not.
want
They're
tight,
working.
play It Takes Two, man. You want tightly made, perfectly
Super Lucky's
well-rounded
Tale.
games
That
and
shit.
shit.
It
Like
Takes Two is a
polished
10 out of
stuff.
10 though. It Takes Two is a damn masterpiece.
I challenge Juice to play New Super Lucky's Tale. It's a
No,
challenge.
he's not gonna care for it though. If I'm
I
being
already
honest, with you.
played the demo.
I'm just being
It's-
completely honest.
Yeah, I remember you saying you played the demo.
I thought it was
It's-
okay.
It controls.
Yeah, exactly.
well.
It's okay. You're not gonna think of it. You're not gonna sit there and be like, "Oh man, it's really good." I don't even think you're gonna think it's really
Take
good. I
up
think
your
you're gonna think it's okay.
and play some games and destroy some other shit.
I
I
just think you're
thought
gonna think it's okay.
kind of like
It just,
Kirby
like-
and the Forgotten Land demo. Like they both they're both solid. You know, New Super Lucky, but I wasn't gonna run out and buy New Super Lucky Tale.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that like I get it.
Plus, it's,
I
like, really
understand
short,
where
which-
you're coming from, but not everything's gonna. Most things are not going to be even close to the competitors of those.
Yeah,
higher
but
ones
it's like,
because that's how
you
it is.
know, when you
It is what
like
it
if
is.
they took like if New Super Lucky's Tales was just Mario 64 where you jump through a painting and you have to collect something and that level's over.
That's not Fallen Order either, though. Come
No.
on, man, relax.
It's literally Fallen Order is literally the Souls game design. Like other than the Star Wars aesthetic.
But no, come on.
I'd say Fallen Order is closer to Metroid Prime than it is to Soul.
Bro, the way fucking, I mean,
I guess the only thing,
Structure of the game, I should say.
just the fact that hey, there's this
the combat
block here.
obviously and the way
This
the way
block
that
here, I
works.
can't get
Right.
this yet. I have to get an ability, then I can come back. That is the one thing that the Souls games don't have.
It's more Metroid Prime in terms of traversal.
But just
in terms
like-
of that.
And your map.
Having tough
really cool,
enemies.
right out of Metroid Prime.
And the map is literally Metroid. Yeah, very Metroid Prime.
It's very Metroid Prime.
Yeah,
With
that-
the whole, it's literally bloopy, and you're like
That
zooming
is-
it, you're turning around like.
I think
It's wonky as shit. You don't know where you at and where you
think
going.
it's-
But
I think it made sense to include a map because it wouldn't make sense with having these characters and having the technology to just not ever know where to go. Like in
No, of course, but
oh no, you
I
have
think-
to have the map.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need it. It's very beefy, those worlds, and they're very the way it's connected, like the way
Yeah.
like it's you really need a
anyway,
map for
let's
that game.
Here's
let's
what
wrap
funny
up
it
the
is.
podcast.
There's like an underwater cave section where I just fucking kept going in a loop, and I didn't know how to get the fuck out of there. And so
I
had
think
to
that was
figure out the
literally
map.
that
I
was
had to-
literally the one spot that I was
Yeah.
like.
That's
think
why
everybody did
that's another element where I prefer with Bloodborne and Demon Souls and stuff, like not having the map. The levels are designed, they're not too complicated, and you'll always, if you do enough exploration, you're gonna find a shortcut or a way to
Yeah.
get back to an
Yeah.
earlier area without having to go back through that whole
That was
section.
Yeah.
my problem with Fallen Order is the backtracking.
Yeah,
That
the
was my-
problem. That's the problem. Is that because it's set up for backtracking, you can be going in a fucking circle for hours.
And I know-
you
that
know,
was-
not even.
That was my complaint with that game.
And that
was
is,
my
I guess,
complaint.
that's another element that
But
I
that was
prefer.
only one level. That was only on one planet that I had that problem.
But
so.
anyway, let's get out of here. Fun chat.
We got a lot of.
At some point, I
Fallen
might try to
Order
finish
though.
that game by the game of the year. I don't know if I don't need to because I already
Which
know
game?
what Fallen Order. I already
Cyberpunk?
know what my favorite non 2022 game of the year is. So,
Is it
Oh.
Cyberpunk?
Is it Cyberpunk?
but yeah. So
That game's also a
It's
great
New
game.
Super Lucky Tail.
we'll be back. We'll be back next week.
Oh.
I don't know when Christmas is. Christmas on a Sunday.
Oh, it is.
Couple
is.
weeks. So I'll have the
So-
Monday
so-
off, but I
no,
got
well, oh.
roped into some
And
family
thank
stuff.
goodness because I got Monday off and it's beautiful.
You
I
know.
actually have a full day off. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I won't because I have my mom just decided to have plans. Even though we'll get together Christmas Eve, Christmas morning, and now the day after Christmas with the same family. I was
I
like,
would be
okay,
like, all right, hey, man,
Okay.
relax,
It's 2
man.
days in a row. It's too much family.
okay,
Yeah, I really
3
relaxed,
straight days.
relaxed,
That's
man.
cool.
I gotta play what Santa gave me.
Yeah, but anyway, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
Peace. Chicken police.